Hello, my fellow humans. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. We're all here sharing this human experience together. I do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. Please remember there's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. Should the messages happen to resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And with that being said, please know that your time, your energy, and your presence are a true blessing and a gift, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing them with you today. So today I was given a channel message from the ancestors. This is the secret, what they secretly want to tell you now. So this is a secret message from your ancestors. They really want this to come through. We're going to leave it up to them to bring forward those messages. I opened the ancestor spirit deck, which was awesome, and the psychic strength was on the bottom here. So I felt like that was really telling energy coming through, just where this is a very powerful message for many of you. This could be a message about talismans. This could be a message about shielding your energy. Could also be a message about not being afraid to share your light and your gifts with others, okay? If you're wondering about what this deck is, it's the Ancestor Spirit Oracle Cards by Jade Sky. Such a beautiful deck, a wondrous gift indeed. But let us go ahead and start with our prayer, and then we'll go ahead and shuffle the cards and get to your collective message and then get your reading underway, okay? And today I picked out black feathers. I just felt called to doing black feathers for everybody, but they are all different. So, well, obviously they're different, but I believe they all come from different birds, actually. I don't remember them all. I do know these first two, but I'm not sure what this last one is for sure. Okay, my beloved source, this prayer is for anyone and everyone who comes on to this reading today. Today I ask that you remind us how deeply we are connected to the ancestors that have passed. And that while we might be healing from their wounds, and while we might be returning ourselves back to our natural state of being and embracing our fullness and our wholeness, that ultimately our ancestors are guiding the way. They want us to embrace ourselves fully. They want us to see ourselves wholly and completely. They want us to be connected to ourselves so that we can heal, release, surrender, and take action when necessary. Today I ask that you give those confirmations that we've been feeling on our hearts, and the confirmation nudges that we've been feeling at our third eyes. Knowing that when we listen and we tune in, we can absolutely tap into that innate wisdom that we all have, that we're all capable of connecting with. And even though it feels impossible at times because the world around us is chaotic and noisy and overwhelming, and there's so much that's going on, it doesn't mean that we won't be able to tap in if we take a moment to ourselves. So today I ask that you give us the courage to sit in stillness, to sit in silence, to sit in awe and in wonderment, so we can receive those very messages from you, from our angels, and more importantly from our ancestors at this time, because we know that they are stepping along this journey with us as we continue forward into the present, into the future, and beyond. As these words are spoken onto this reading and upon this tribe today, so shall they be. Amen. Aho, Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. All right, let me go ahead and set this up over here. All right. I feel like I need to move around a little bit stiff today, guys, a little bit stiff. So are you guys not getting enough movement in? Are you being stagnant? Feels like depression is coming in right now for sure for someone. And this is a confirmation that you just need to move at this time. And I know when you're depressed, it's really hard to get up and do anything, but even just going outside and walking around the block can help move the energy. I feel like whatever it is that you're going through, it is definitely incredibly difficult. But right now, the most important thing is to get some energy flowing through your body. Maybe it's just getting up and taking a shower. And I know that grosses some people out, like, oh, how could you not shower every day? But when you're dealing with depression, sometimes that's just how it is. It's hard to get up to just do even menial tasks. Brushing our teeth, washing our hair, washing our face, changing our clothes, right? Like, these are things that are very human of us, and please don't let people's judgment of that, or people making it seem like, oh, that's so gross, how could you not do that, make it seem like you're weird. If that's you, you're not. This is something that I myself have gone through many, many times along my journey. I have many clients who have experienced the very same thing. And so you are not alone. But today I do feel like there's a need to move. There's this stiff energy. It's very stagnant that's coming through, and it's time to get up and move. All right. So for pile number 1, ancestors, what ancestor spirit oracle card will help us better understand what you secretly want to tell pile number 1? Okay, thank you. All right, pile number 2, ancestors, what ancestor spirit oracle card will help us better understand what you secretly want to tell pile number 2? What do you secretly want to tell pile number 2, ancestors? Thank you. All right, pile number 3, ancestors, what ancestor spirit oracle card will help us better understand what you secretly want to tell pile number 3? Wow. Okay, pile 3, you're getting 2 cards. I'm going to take them because they came out together. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles today. Okay, bottom of the deck, collective energy. So back to, if you're just joining us for the, okay, there. If you're just joining us for the collective energy, before I started shuffling, I was saying that there's this stagnant energy that's coming through. It's really powerful. And that even if there's depression going on right now, your ancestors really want you to get up and move your body. Like, this is really, really powerful coming in, whether that's getting outside and walking around your block, whether that's going to the park, getting up and taking a shower. Maybe it's just getting up, brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, washing your face, you know, and changing your clothes. It doesn't have to be something so dramatic, right? Like, it could just be something very simple as getting out of bed, making your bed, right? And moving to a different place in the house. Maybe you've been sitting on the couch all day and just haven't been feeling like you can do anything. Maybe it's getting up and washing the dishes that are in the sink, or vacuuming the living room, right? It's just getting moving right now is really important for the collective, because there's just this very stagnant energy that's hanging out, and I feel like I need to move. I feel like I need to run around. Like, I feel like I need to just maybe get up and dance, maybe turn on your favorite song and just let the music take you, and don't worry about what you look like dancing. Just keep it on repeat, right? I don't care if you listen to it once. I don't care if you listen to it 100 times. You know what? I've been there. I've done that. I always tell a song when I need to hear it again. I got beef with this song, and I'm going to have beef with this song until I'm done listening to it. And sometimes it'll be weeks until I'm done listening to it. Okay. So please understand, if you need to put a song on repeat, put a song on repeat. Get up and move around. Let it take you. Get out of breath, sweat. You know, hard breath is spiritual change, and sweat is spiritual cleansing. So remember that. And that's what I feel like they want you to do right now, is just go through this spiritual movement. It's not about exercise. This is not about your health. This is about spiritual vitality and coming back home to yourself. Okay. So let's see what your card is. Yeah, look at this. Oh my gosh. We have the whole self. Health on the bottom here. We have nutrition, natural therapies, balance, and Ayurveda. So whole self health. That's what I was saying. Like, this is not about your physical health. This is not about like losing weight. This is not about working out. It's not the fitness industry. That's not what we're trying to say here. This has to do with your whole body. This has to have to do with coming back home to yourself. This has to do with rooting yourself in this realm where maybe you've become ungrounded or unbalanced, or you've gotten lost in the sauce maybe, right? And this is about coming back to yourself. Maybe it's about eating whole, natural foods. You know, I'm just going to say this. Lately, actually for the last year and a half, I've been doing keto because everybody's been doing this big, oh, keto's the best diet there is. Keto's the only diet there is. And keto did not help me lose weight. I'm going to tell you, I was sick most of the time, and I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm not saying, but keto is just a lot of dairy and meat. Like, that's so much of the diet consists of dairy and meat. And my body was getting sick of it. And when I got sick, I asked my family, I was like, can you bring me some oranges and bananas and apples? Because I need that. And they're like, yeah, but we can't eat those on our own. I was like, I don't care. I'm sick. And if my body's asking for it, I need it. There's something I need from them. Like, it's asking for these specific things. And they brought back those things for me, and I ate them all. I tell you, when I bit into the orange, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been missing. I've been missing this. And you know, as a kid, I hated oranges. And so for me to come full circle and say I love oranges now, and to incorporate them back into my diet. And so I changed, and I went from doing the keto diet to a balanced lifestyle is what I'm looking at right now. And it's about integrating greens and whole fruit foods and whole fruits. And I still try to eat less carbs and stuff like that, but I'm incorporating potatoes back into my diet. And it's been a whole thing since I've been sick, but it's been giving me a lot more energy. And so it's more than about the weight loss industries. What they're showing, why they're having me talk about this, is because it's more than the weight loss industry. It's nice to be on a diet, right? Like, but sometimes the diets are actually what's keeping us ungrounded. And eating nothing but dairy and red meats is keeping us out of our heart chakra. When we eat fruits and vegetables, while all the colors can definitely ring true for our chakras as we go, right? Like, so like purple for your throat, or for your crown chakra and your third eye, blue for your throat, green for your heart, you know, yellow for your solar plexus, orange for your sacral, and red for your root. Yes, that all rings true, but most fruits resonate at the frequency of our heart chakra, and it's so important to stay in that energy of our heart chakra. Fruits and vegetables, they all connect with our heart chakra, with breath. It's a breath of life from source. It's a breath of life from spirit. It's the gift of the gods, if you will, right? And you see all these whole foods behind him in this card. And so there might be something here where you've recently changed your diet, or maybe you've been trying to stick to a very restrictive lifestyle. And while that's okay, the question becomes, is this truly working for you? Is this truly something that's beneficial to you? And sitting with those questions and getting the truth from your body is the main thing, right? Because even if we think that they don't impact our mental health, we are what we eat, right? So if you're eating a lot of heavy food, if you're eating a lot of junk food, right? Like, all of these things impact us. The same with if you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and whole foods and home cooked meals. And these are all things that will impact us on the whole. But there's a question that needs to be asked here, because again, with the depression, it just feels like there's something tied into what you're consuming. And since there's food here, this could be absolutely food that you're consuming. But I also feel like this is reminding you, like, what are you consuming? Like, what are you watching? What are you watching the news? And are you obsessed with watching the news? And are you watching Facebook and just scrolling on Facebook? Are you just scrolling on TikTok? Are you just scrolling on Twitter? You know, like, are you just scrolling on Instagram? Like, these are things to pay attention to, and pay attention to what you're taking in at each given moment. And why I feel like it's important for you to move your body right now is because it's getting away from that stagnancy that tends to come from being stuck on our phones and being stuck to our devices, whether that's TV, our phones, our tablets, our computers. It's moving away from those things and coming back to a sense of self and stillness. Even through movement, we can come back to a sense of self through stillness. And that sounds like a conundrum, but you can do like that's what they call a moving meditation, right? You can use breath as meditation. You can use dance as meditation. You can use a shower as a meditation. You can use mindfulness as a meditation. So this is meditation through movement, which is really important for the collective right now. There's something that needs to be moved on. And it's really telling because he's wearing this bright red turban on his head. And when we think about the head, we think about immediately the third eye and the crown chakra. But thinking about the color of red, it's thinking about our root chakra, right? And it's interesting because before I did the reading, I was drawn to picking a root chakra frequency. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. I do have it pretty low, but if you guys hear anything in the background, that's a root chakra frequency that's going on. And it was just about being grounded for me before getting onto this reading. And so I know that that's something that's synchronistic, especially with his bright red turban here. We're bringing what we're receiving intuitively and spiritual downloads, and even from our Akashic records, maybe even our dreams, we're bringing that back into the physical realm. And I love that these eggplants are right behind him because it's, again, connecting with the third eye. Eggplants here too, right? These are the ones that stand out the most on this card, and also heart chakra energy standing out on this card. So it's coming back to a balanced state of being. And that's through natural therapies, balance, Ayurveda. But the main thing is asking yourself right now, is what I'm doing truly beneficial for me? Or am like that when I was on the keto diet, I was like, anytime I would eat bread, like if I went out to eat and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to have a cheat day, right? Like, and I would eat, because I love sandwiches. Like that's like one of my favorite things in the world is sandwiches. And I love making sandwiches of all kinds. Like it's just something I've always loved since I was a kid. And I love to have tomatoes and lettuce and the whole shebang bang on some sandwiches. I like a sandwich that's like stacked tall and it's got some meat in the center, you know, like I really love that. And I would eat a sandwich and I would feel absolutely guilty. Like, oh my gosh. And then I'd spend a week beating myself up. You're not supposed to eat all those carbs. And then that would make me eat ice cream, or that would make me feel like I need to, you know, consume something else, or I would run away from myself, or I would binge eat on something, right? And so beating ourselves up because of something that's super restrictive is not necessarily beneficial for us. And that's what they want to say right now. And again, it doesn't have to be your diet, right? It's just they're using diet here as something simple to connect with. But this could be anything. This could even be your spiritual journey. This could be your life. This could be, you know, what you're doing. Like maybe you're being super restrictive on what you're actually consuming, right? Like maybe you're only watching spiritual videos and you're never watching anything for entertainment. Well, that's super restrictive to yourself. So then just say like you decide to watch something for entertainment purposes, but then you're beating yourself up. That's not enjoying life, right? Like life is meant to be enjoyed. Even though we're always supposed to be aware of our actions and what we're taking in, we're meant to enjoy this life as well. So it says in Vedic tradition, Soma was a sacred drink that was stolen from the gods and gifted to humans by Agni, the fire god. Soma was prepared in sacred ritual and consumed by the Vedic priests for stimulation, right? Movement stimulation, to give them spiritual inspiration, wisdom, and courage. This is about spiritual vitality. Didn't I say that? What a synchronicity. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, ancestors. Thank you. Drinking Soma blessed gods and goddesses with immortality, and consumption by humans was said to have the same effect. Soma had a key place in ritual and attested by the many references to it in the Rig Veda, the oldest of the Vedic texts. It is associated with the god of sacrifice who shares the name Soma. However, Soma wasn't the only natural medicine of its time. Ayurvedic medicine, developed on the Indian subcontinent during the Vedic period, was used to balance people's bodies, minds, and spirits. Like all the Vedas, it is believed the sacred Ayurveda texts were given directly to the holy priests from the gods. The texts were passed on for generations as part of a rich oral tradition before they were written down around 500 BCE. Ayurvedic therapies use complex herbal compounds, minerals, and metal substances. Ayurveda looks at the whole person and treats an individual by connecting them to the elements of life, food, and body. Your ancestors say, have a look at your whole self. Have you felt sluggish or out of balance? Have you been craving a certain type of food or drink? Isn't that funny? And that's why I was telling you, like, I was craving the oranges and the bananas and apples when I was sick. Like, it's important to listen to our body. I'm not saying, like, if you're craving sugar, you know, that's not necessarily our body asking for sugar. That could be our ego trying to cover up something. But if your body's asking for something that's natural, that's whole, that's good, that's wholesome for you, that's your body asking for certain type of fulfillment from what that can give to us. Okay, it says, have you been craving a certain type of food or drink? Be conscious of everything you're putting into your body, including food, ideas, images, and breath. You are what you consume. Be more aware of what you choose to put into your body. Make choices for your wellness. This is about wholeness. Focus on refining your diet. You may need to add, avoid, or moderate a food or food group. Each person's body reacts to foods and drinks in its own way. Only you can determine what is the best diet for you, and you can only do this by paying attention to your whole self. Tiredness, headaches, pain, stomach issues, or something else you have accepted as normal can be improved or alleviated by a change in diet. This card is prompting you to take charge of your health by making a change and creating wellness. Yeah, so very synchronistic here. This is about you paying attention to what your body is craving. What is it asking you for? And listening to that is going to get you some incredibly powerful results, okay? So let me get this set up here. Now, I ended up choosing the Zodiac dice, and I don't know why, but that's just how it happened. And we're going to go with it. But Libra came out twice, and then we have Aquarius. So I think it's funny that we got all air sign energy, which again, connecting to the heart. There's something about here connecting to the heart too. Okay. Excuse me. Let me take a drink. All right. So for pile number 1, we do have this dice with Libra on it. And please know that these are not just for Libra and Aquariuses. This is just something to choose from, okay? Or we have this Greckle feather for you to choose from. Which I got in Galveston. Okay, pile number 2, we have this dice with Aquarius on it. We have this pigeon feather. Okay, and pile 3, we have this dice with Libra on it as well. Or we have this feather, which I'm not 100% sure. This could be a pigeon feather. It could be a Greckle feather. It is a mystery feather. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever pile you felt called to, that should be the one for you. And I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Libra on it, Just something to choose from. Or perhaps you felt called to this Greckle feather. Or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be your reading, what your ancestors secretly wish to tell you right now. We're all here sharing this human experience together. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. I do things differently here on this channel, so with that being said, there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. If the message resonates, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And please know that your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing it with you today. So with that, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Pile 1. Ancestors, what do you secretly want to tell pile 1 now? Okay, so we've got the first house, we've got Uranus, and we've got Scorpio energy. So you've been wanting to change either the way you approach people or are seen by people, or you're wanting to change your appearance. There's some sort of transformation here that you want to go through with your appearance, and your ancestors are telling you to be patient because that's happening, okay? There's going to be an issue that you overcome or a block that you overcome, and then suddenly it's going to feel like things are going to start rolling really fast for you. But to be patient on the journey and allow things to unfold. There's a sense of impatience here, and they want you to know that all the best things take time, and all the best things will come to you if you allow them to and allow the time to unfold. But there's something coming in where it's like you're getting either ahead of yourself or you're wanting to force a transformation, which could be maybe you're like, well, it's not happening as fast as I wanted to, so I'm going to get some type of a surgery, or I'm going to go get some work done, or I'm going to go maybe hire a professional who's going to whip me into shape or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be quite like that, but it does feel like there's some sort of permanence to the choice that you would like to make in regards to either your appearance or your change, your outward change. And they're saying right now is a time to be patient for things to unfold. And it's interesting. I don't think I've ever gotten one of these messages before. So please know that what's about to come through is very specific for maybe 1 or 2 people. But for those of you that are in the midst of transitioning, okay, there's something here where it's like allow the transition phase to go through its stages, right? There's no need to rush it. There's no need to try to make things happen very quickly, even though it might be uncomfortable for you. Through the transitional stage, it's like there's a reason that things take time, and that there's a reason for that discomfort, and it's just so that you can find comfort again in your own skin. And that may resonate with others who aren't even on that journey as well, and that's okay, but that's coming in. It's just they want you to be very comfortable in your skin. They want you to be comfortable being who you are. And for those of you that maybe have been working on a better body image, or have had like body dysmorphia, or have had just self-hatred towards your body and really picked on your own flaws, like there's something here about allowing the process to unfold and to let go of those limiting beliefs. And that can be a lot easier said than done, but I do feel like many of you have found a tool or a resource that's helping you overcome that. And there's no need to force it, right? There's no need to rush it at a lightning pace here. It's allowing the process to unfold. So example would be if you're losing weight, right? And you want to lose, just say you want to lose 10 pounds, just an example here. But it just seems like these last 10 pounds are just not budging, they're not moving at all, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go maybe get liposuction or something and get this over with so I don't have to deal with it. But instead of doing something like that, they're saying be patient through the process of this seeming plateau that you're on, because the plateau is actually allowing you to gather the strength, the wisdom, and the courage necessary for you when the next step comes, okay? And that could be with anything. That could be becoming a leader. That could be with taking a new position at work. That could be with your friends. That could be with your job. Like if you are on an online platform or something like that. There's just a plateau right now, and the plateau is preparing you to become more empowered moving forward, and they want you to embrace this time and what it's bringing with it, rather than trying to rush to some end result. Because there's this feeling, if you're rushing to some end result, that it's not going to be the way that you want it to. Rather, if you sit with the plateau and allow this phase to be what it's going to be, then things will become exactly the way that you want them to, even better. So it's like I heard it's like letting it permeate you, and then I also heard it's a marinating season. So you're in your marinating season. Okay, let's find out some more about this. Ancestors, what do you secretly want to tell pile 1? Pile 1, what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Pile 1, what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Yeah, something to do with health. You know, I just want to point out, you may very well resonate with the collective message that I did at the beginning, which you'll find timestamped down below, but it was very, very focused on health and body and bringing spiritual vitality back. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. A lot. So 9 and 9 coming out here. This is the ending of a cycle, but this feels like the point before the fruit falls from the tree, which sometimes feels like the longest. That's the point of ripening, right? When the fruit falls from the tree, that's when it's reached its full ripeness and it's ready to give back, right? That's when it gives its bounty back to the earth. And that's where you're at right now. It's like you're reaching ripeness. You're about to fall from the branches of whatever tree you planted, whatever it is that you've sown. And you're about to reap the rewards of that. But there's this feeling of impatience, or there's feeling of like trying to push things to the next level, or there's this feeling of like trying to control the outcome here because you're tired of feeling uncomfortable in this uncomfortable stage. But there's a need to be in this uncomfortable stage right now. Yeah, and ultimately, pile 1, ultimately they're saying the choice is yours. Like, if you choose to go down the fast track, that's fine. But they're secretly wanting to tell you that you don't have to go down that fast track. Like, you can find other more creative, more leisurely routes that are going to be a lot more peaceful to your end destination. Yeah, there's this very impulsive energy here with the Empress in the reverse. This is being very impulsive, wanting to move forward very fast, not seeing maybe certain red flags that are coming up. Even with this 9 of Swords in the reverse, not seeing potential traps. And that's traps of the mind, right? Self-sabotage or self-illusions that you have about yourself, or even being disillusioned, right, from the journey itself. And that's what they're saying here. It's like there's some traps on the fast-paced journey, which you will overcome if that's what you choose, right? You have the opportunity. Yeah, double choice card here. You have the opportunity to choose, right? It's ultimately going to be up to you which direction you go. But knowing that when you go through trying to rush to some end result, that it's not going to be what you've asked it to be. And there's someone or someone particular that you're meant to meet along the way. that's going to help you blossom into the person that you're meant to be. Some sort of alliance, some sort of business collaboration. This could be a relationship, friendship. It doesn't feel very romantic, but it does feel like someone that you're going to have like a meeting of the minds with, and they're going to find you when you allow things to unfold at, I keep hearing it, a snail's pace. Maybe that's what it feels like for you, is like a snail's pace. Things are just moving super slow. Things are just taking their sweet old time. It's like, when is it gonna be my time? And this morning, I actually posted on the community post. It's been a while since I posted there, and I'm trying to get back into my habits and my routines with the channel and in life in general. And I posted on there, and it was talking about, I don't remember the quote right now, but what they had asked me to say on there is that, what if there really is no time that's our time? What if our time is the fact that we decided to choose for ourselves, right? To choose ourselves. That's what makes it our time. And I feel like there's this illusion, or there's this idea that's come up for you where, no, like, I need to get there as quick as possible because I have something to prove, either to yourself or to the people around you or to someone in particular, or just so that the naysayers can shut up, right? Like, whoa, wait till I get my money right, then you can't tell me nothing, right? I don't know who sings that song, but that's coming in really strong, right? Wait till I get my money right, then you can't tell me nothing, right? Like, that's what this feels like. It's like there's a need to, like, I want to shut somebody up. And your ancestors are saying, like, that's okay if that's what you want to go and do. Like, you have the choice. The choice is, the ball is in your court. But they also want to point out that, remember, when you're in that energy, that's still coming from the emotional ego, and we're trying to move you more into that spiritual self, that spiritual phase and growth of finding balance, unconditional self-love, and realizing that you already have nothing to prove in this moment. You are already all the proof that you need. You are already everything that you need to move forward, and you are already enough. And that whatever this has to do with your health, like, of course you want to get to that being fully healed, or losing all that weight, or getting to a goal that you have, or being fully transitioned, or whatever the case may be. Of course you want to get to that end result, but the process that's unfolding is actually teaching you something very valuable. And I feel like it's teaching you to face this impulsive energy that your emotional ego has built up somewhere along the way, as a defense mechanism to not deal with the discomfort that comes from those plateaus, those places where things seem to stop, when actually that's what we call, I think it was this yoga class that I had, and she called it the holy affirming. And when we get to that space of the holy affirming, where we've already taken action, and then we've also allowed things to happen, but there's this space in between where the holy affirming takes over, and it is working on a level that's unseen. And that unseen level is where magic is happening, and we have to allow that to unfold. And ultimately, when we're trying to force it, we're rushing the magic, and it needs time to germinate, right? It needs time to grow. It needs time to gestate. And through letting that happen, you are then going to allow that to manifest in its entirety, rather than just tendrils of it, or rather than just pieces of it. And that's what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now, pile one. Ultimately, you have a choice, especially with the Lover here on the bottom of the deck. You have a choice. You can rush towards something. You know, and this talks about, too, maybe healing the mother wound, which would come out with the Empress as well. You could have had a Taurus or a Libra mother, or a Gemini mother, because you chose the Libra, the first Libra dice. You could have had a Libra mother, or you could have your Venus in Libra, 6th house placements in your chart. Or you could have Sagittarius or Gemini in the 6th house as well coming through. But regardless, this card does talk to the mother energy, which also the Empress does. We have the mother wound here, but we also have showing, are you going to go towards something that you're lusting after that maybe isn't as fulfilling, or are you going to go towards the more honorable and integral path? And this talks about Hercules making a decision between these two paths, going towards temptation or going towards honor and integrity. And that's the choice that you have. And I know saying it like that means like, well, who wouldn't choose honor and integrity? And it's not to set you up for failure. That's not what they're trying to do here. They're trying to remind you that both paths are equally valid, right? Going towards temptation, going towards lust, that's an equally valid path as going towards honor and integrity. It's just a different path. That's all it is. But they're both valid paths that you can take. And ultimately, you're going to choose what's best for you. And that's what they want. But there is a sense of indecision that's coming out here. And they want to remind you that if that indecision is being caused by the emotional ego wanting to rush to an end result so that it can see proof, and that proof can then be used as a weapon towards others, then that's not coming from your higher self. That's not coming from the spiritual self. And that's what they just want to remind you, that it's okay to take a step back and to allow things to just unfold as they are right now. There's no need to rush anywhere, to be anything that you're not. Which, again, is easier said than done, especially if there's something that you're trying to manifest on this journey. We want things to happen so fast, right? Like, we are in the day and age of instantaneous gratification, and manifestation is not necessarily instantaneous. It can be in some instances. We can absolutely instantaneously manifest, but a lot of our manifestations are very big, and those big ones, they take time to come to us. Yeah, the moon, satisfy emotional needs, nurturing the self and others. Yeah, so this is showing that there is definitely the mother wound that's coming in here. Lack of nurturing and caring of oneself. And that's a lack of nurturing and caring one's seeds of manifestation, right? So that wound is going to transfer into our ability to take care of what it is that we've sown. And you very well may resonate with that collective message at the beginning. If you feel called to it, you'll find that timestamp down below. But if not, it's okay. But that's exactly that type of energy that I'm getting here with the moon. There's this need to come back to nurturing of yourself. It's like, why rush to an end result when all it's going to lead to is another path, right? Another detour to leading you right back, to nurturing and caring for yourself. Allowing things to slowly unfold. All right, what would you like to say, ancestors? Thank you. Now I have that song stuck in my head. Whoa, wait till I get my money right. Sorry, I just broke a nail. My poor nails today have been taking a beating. Yeah, addiction. Okay, so we have addict here. Helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. The shadow attributes compromises integrity and honesty and allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. This shadow aspect is actually what we've been talking about, right? Compromises integrity and honesty. And we were talking about that. Are you going to go towards the path of integrity and honor versus lust and temptation? And that's exactly what this card is pointing at. And it's okay. There's not, like, they're not trying to blame you. They're not trying to point the finger at you and to make you feel bad. We have to come into awareness, and the only way we can come into awareness is by directly confronting those behaviors that we have that maybe have been taking authority over our inner spirit. And when we come face to face with those patterns, then we're able to actually do something about them. It's not about judging. It's not about blaming. It's not about criticizing. It's not about ostracizing ourselves. Like, none of that improves our well-being. What improves our well-being is facing it with awareness. and conscious awareness at that, right? Allowing yourself to see that, hey, this is not what I want moving forward. Like, I don't want to rush to end outcomes. Like, you know, maybe if it's a loving relationship, right? Instead of trying to rush into a relationship the first time you meet a person, allowing things to unfold, right? Maybe allowing 3 months to go by until you have sex with a person or something like that. It's just an example, right? But with the health energy here, with the 9 of Wands, there's this energy of like, there's something here that's affecting your health. And it's like you want some end result, but you have to allow things to unfold. And so it's like, maybe you're trying to, an example here would be if you're trying to lose weight and you've changed your diet and you're like, okay, you know, I'm going to eat this, I'm going to eat that, and I want to, you know, and you're not losing weight, and then suddenly you're like, okay, I'm just going to stop eating, right? Or you're binge eating, or you maybe are dealing with an eating disorder or something along those lines, something that you maybe already left in the past. It's allowing time to unfold, like not going back to those harmful, destructive habits and patterns, right? There's self-doubt here, feelings of inadequacy. So this is something that's really strong right now. Whatever this is, whatever this path is that you're on, there's a lot of self-doubt here. And we see the grandparents here in the mirror. So this is something that's been coming down your ancestral line for a long time. With the number 10, this has to do with completing this cycle, letting go of self-doubt and embracing self-belief. But also this could have to do with your path of purpose, whatever you're doing for your path of purpose, right? And it's because of abandonment. Look at this. We have feelings of unworthiness and rejection. Wow, these are 2 of the darkest cards in this deck. Like, most of the cards are really bright. Like, you see, you have isolation here, imprisonment, and physical issues. But it's interesting that abandonment, what's this one? This is success. So this is a happy card. But it's interesting that abandonment and self-doubt are going to come out, because it's like self-doubt was exacerbated by this feeling of unworthiness and rejection, that is abandoning ourselves when we're dealing with the mother wound, right? Not giving ourselves adequate love, not giving ourselves adequate care, not giving ourselves the time that we need, right? A loving mother is going to say, I'm here to support, love, and provide for you whatever you need while you're going through this tough time. I can't carry the burden for you, but I can be present with you. So how can we do that for ourselves? Yeah, so we have last quarter moon, tie up loose ends. This is the end of a cycle for you. This is the end of a cycle. This is like you're on the very tail end of learning those lessons of those times where you did abandon yourselves, or those times where you maybe chose temptation and lust over honor and integrity, right? Like, this is the end of that. And that's what they're saying. It's like, stick with it, because once it closes out, this is not a cycle that's going to reopen in your life. There may be there might be times that are reminiscent of it, but you're going to be aware of it because you're approaching it with awareness. Right? Yeah, things are magically aligning with the trine energy here. You're absolutely getting help with this on your journey from your ancestors. Like, they want to help you with this. They want you to overcome this. They want you to feel freedom from this. All right, here's an angel number. On the bottom, we have transformation. We had that with Uranus, 555. Release old habits, embrace new opportunities for growth, and trust in the universe's plan for you. So there's a huge transformation here. I'm going to get one of the Moonology oracles, and then I'm actually going to draw from, I was going to use my Ancestor Tarot today, but I didn't, which was odd. So I feel really called to just drawing an extra card for you in regards to that. That's the pattern they want today. So I have to go with where they're going. Step out of your comfort zone, North Node. Yeah, so what was I saying? Like, this is something that you're in an uncomfortable place, and the habits from being in discomfort are coming into play right now. And so we have to step out of those habits, and that's what stepping outside of our comfort zone is. And that's what they're saying. It's okay for you to step beyond that. It's okay for you to let go of that. Okay, these cards are massive. The Sun dropped out with the Queen of Swords. Yeah, it's time for you to shed a light on a truth that's deeper than you know. right? Like there's something here that's trying to come out. So let's put that back in the deck and let's get one of these cards out for pile 1, ancestors. Give us a card, one more that you would like to give to them. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. This is the card. Okay, and then on the bottom of the deck, we have Judgment. So I'm going to leave this out. Look, the moon underneath that. So this is about nurturing and loving yourself, right? Those secrets that have made you feel worthless or like you didn't matter. And then I can't with under that. Look, we've got so many major arcana, or the mystery cards, what we know as the mystery cards in the Tarot Marseille. We've got the Emperor, Death, and the Moon coming out. There's this transformation of bringing you back to a very grounded and pivotal point on your journey. But it's about facing the emotional well-being of where you're at right now, of what's been hidden. Something that's been hidden is coming to light, and it's from the past. Okay, so let me put this here for now. Let's take a look at the rest of your oracle cards, and then we'll look at this as kind of like guidance for you with the Judgment card. Yeah, Venus, give and receive love, find value and see beauty. This is about loving yourself unconditionally, and that unconditional love that comes from the mother wound, right? When we don't know what it is to be loved unconditionally by our mother, like how do we give that to ourselves? And it's just about stumbling along and learning through the process. That's all it is. And you'll figure out what works best for you. But it's reminding yourself not to be judgmental of yourself, not to put yourself down, and remind yourself that you're human. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to have oops moments. You're allowed to have upsets. It doesn't make you imperfect, or it doesn't make you incapable of being loved. And it doesn't make you a monster. And it doesn't make you unworthy, right? Yeah, gossip, interesting, awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. The shadow is thrives on the power, passing on private or secret information, betraying confidences. So there, you've had people who betrayed your confidences before, and it's hard for you to trust people. This is something that's coming out. And so it's like, again, maybe pushing to this end result is like, I'm tired of people who are gossiping about me. I'm tired of people putting me down when they don't know anything about me. So if I get to this state of being successful, then I can finally show them that they're wrong. But what do you have to prove to them? And why try to prove anything to them? If they're gossiping about you, they've already shown you their true colors, and they're not for you. And if they're not for you, then you don't have to do anything to prove otherwise. Like, that's it. That's just wasting energy to try and make them feel the way that they've made you feel. It doesn't mean that they don't deserve that. What it means is that you're wasting your precious energy on something that ultimately is just going to cause more hurt and pain in the end. The energy is gaining momentum. Yeah, so you might feel like things are stagnant, but they're actually not. Like, there's a lot going on in the spiritual realm where they're helping you. Okay, authenticity. Be yourself. Pursue your passions. Show your authentic self. Don't pay attention to what others are thinking of you, which is what I was just saying. If there's people gossiping about you and you want this transitional period to end so you could be like, I told you so. I told you I was worthy. I told you I could do it. I told you I was going to make it. Like, whatever, just the I told you so's are coming out, right? Ultimately, that I told you so is going to fall on deaf ears anyways, especially if these people are gossiping about you. That's it. It's not going to ever put them with their back up against a wall. Even though we wanted to, these people are still going to find other things to talk bad about you. They're going to find other things to gossip to people about. Maybe it's not you, but they move on to the next person and they've just totally forgotten about you. That abandonment wound comes up. So now I'm just not even important enough to talk about. Now that I've hit success, now it just doesn't even matter. It's because it never mattered even when you weren't in that place of success. You were just a topic that they could use as a means to garner sympathy from other people, to garner reactions from other people, or to elicit attention. That's all it was. And if you're not going to be that anymore, it's going to move on to the next thing. And that feels bad too, right? That feels awful. Like, oh, okay, so I really don't matter that much. And it's like, we think that we matter so much when people are gossiping about us, but it's not that we matter to them. We don't. And it's not even that they care about us or what it is that we're doing. All they're looking for, people who are gossipers, all they're looking for is information. That's it. They're just looking for information to pass on because they like the fact that people listen to what they're saying. It gives them a sense of empowerment, even though it's false. So let's take a look at your card. Yeah, the Chariot, the spiritual victory here. This is about your spiritual journey, okay? And this is about empowering yourself to integrate both the shadow and the light, recognizing that the shadow part of yourself, that's maybe that self-doubt, or dealing with the abandonment, or dealing with the mother wound, dealing with the self-judgment even, right? Especially with this, looking in this mirror, and she's reaching through for herself through the mirror, pulling herself out of this watery, it feels like a watery grave. That's what I was just going to say, like this watery grave, and pulling herself to safety. This is about saving yourself the hassle, saving yourself the energy, saving yourself the time, because there's this energy about this person or these people in your life. And this could be the mother coming in, but this could be a Cancer. This could be someone that's a Taurus or a Libra. This could be someone that has Pluto aspects, highly aspect in their chart. You could have Pluto highly aspect in your chart. Could have been a Scorpio, Aquarius, or an Aries. Again, it's just, this could be anybody that's in your life that you feel is gossiping about you, or that is just taken your situation as a means to make them a victim. Ultimately, it's not about them. And even them talking about you, it's still not about them, or it's not about you. It's about where they're at emotionally, and you just have to let it be. It hurts, and it's gonna hurt, but it's not worth your energy. It's not worth your efforts. It's not worth your time. You have so many bigger, better things to be focusing on. And the more you focus on people who doubt you, or who are using you as a means to spread gossip, the more this self-doubt is going to flare up, and the more you're not going to want to face it. So right now it's about facing that illusion within self. So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. Yeah, take time out. You need a siesta. You need to recharge. You need to rest. You need to reconnect with yourself. Maybe there's some people that you trust that you could go to, like a spa, or go to, if you guys do like hot springs or something like that, or, you know, in Colorado, when I lived there, we would go do the mineral caves and stuff like that. Like you could take mineral baths and anything like that. But it does feel like you just need to take some time out for yourself. Maybe you need to get a massage, or have a facial. If you're a guy, maybe you need to go to a barber shop and have them give you the full treatment for getting your face shaved with a straight blade or something like that. Like, this is just self-care. You need to get treatment or service from someone that doesn't see you as a means to gossip about or put down. Like, they just, maybe if someone's serving you, right? So like if you go and get your hair cut or something like that, you might talk to them, but they're not talking to you because they're trying to garner information from you. They're talking to you because they're trying to pass the time, right? And so in that moment, it feels like they really truly care about us, but I just feel like you just need someone to attend to you. And that sounds so dirty. It's not meant to sound dirty, but you just need someone to attend to your needs right now. So a massage, a facial, a full body, you know, bath or mud bath or something like that, or what, you know, like you need to go somewhere and just take time out and recharge. Maybe this is even going camping, fishing, getting with your buddies, getting with your friends, and talking and just laughing and having a good time, but feeling vulnerable and open with yourself is really important here. Okay, so let's read this book from the book. And again, you may very well resonate with that message. They keep telling me to tell you. So there's someone here who's been reluctant to look at the collective message from the beginning, and they're saying this is your confirmation that you need to watch it. If you're feeling reluctant, like you feel called to it, but you're like, meh, I don't think I'm gonna watch it, they're saying that you should watch it. There's something that you're gonna receive from that's gonna help you out. So I don't know, it's just, I don't usually mention it that much, and they just keep talking about it. So it says the ancient Romans are known for conquering lands and having large, strong armies, but they were not just soldiers. They were amazing architects and engineers too, and they built roads, walls, bathhouses, and aqueducts, if I can talk. Wealthy Romans enjoyed a variety of luxurious foods and wines, which they've imported from all around the empire. The early Romans divided their day into 12-hour periods, depending on what the light was like or the time of the year. They could accurately measure sunrise, midday, sunset with sundials. The length of the shadow on the sundial helped them estimate the time of day, and in the 6th hour on the sundial, wealthy Romans would stop what they were doing, go home, eat a leisurely lunch, and have a siesta, a rest or sleep, which comes from the Latin ora sexta, meaning the 6th hour. The important thing about a siesta was that it allowed the Romans to rest physically, mentally, and spiritually before they tackled the remainder of their day. This is a reminder that you need to nurture yourself. Even if you can't have a siesta, stop and recharge throughout the day. Have a cup of coffee or tea, go for a walk on your lunch break. Take some time out to nurture yourself. Rest and look after your physical body. It is essential to do this before you become too tired or disconnected from your spirit and energy. Practice setting firm boundaries so you have time to nurture yourself. Do not let other people's dramas or energy interfere with your self-care. It is important to look after your energy, so don't feel guilty about making rest and reflection a part of your routine. Visualize a safe place and see yourself making a cocoon around yourself. Go to this place whenever you need to recharge. Yeah, so this is about letting go and coming back to yourself, saving yourself, right? We saw this from the Judgment card here. Saving yourself. There's something here that's making you feel like you're drowning. It's overwhelming. It's very heavy. It's very difficult to go through. And your ancestors secretly want to tell you that it's time for you to take care of yourself, to prioritize your self-care at this time, and take some time out to recharge. It's something that you definitely need. There is spiritual victory for you in the future. It's coming. You're in the process of calling it to yourself. But this is about also facing those illusions that might have been taking up way more time and energy than you maybe thought that they were, and letting them go and surrendering to the journey itself, which is something you are absolutely capable of doing. Okay, so this is what I see here for you today, pile one. If you felt like this was your reading, leave a little shower emoji down below and say, I choose to take time out to recharge, to reconnect, and to remember that as long as I'm connected with myself, I'm doing the best I can with this time that I've been given. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box below. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides, and a special shout out to the ancestors for coming through today. And with that being said, until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Aquarius on it, and just something to choose from, perhaps you felt called to this pigeon feather. Or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be your reading on what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. I do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. If the message resonates with you, it'd mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need below in the description box. Your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing it with you today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now, pile two. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Okay, so we've got the 9th house, we've got Leo energy, and we've got Venus. Be confident in your approach to life. How you feel what you believe, what you've seen, what you've learned, what you've experienced, all of that matters. And it's going to be vastly different for everybody, right? But that's what makes it perfect, is because it's different. You're not the same as someone else. So your viewpoint, your perspective, your perception of the world, it matters, because it's going to help someone else feel connected. It's going to help someone else feel like they belong. It's going to help someone else feel like they're seen, they're heard. And they want you to share that. They want you to be confident and courageous enough to share that with others, and to not feel like you have to diminish yourself when people see a different world than you do, or when people see a different belief than you do. You have a right to share your belief and your opinions in this moment and be heard and seen. Even if someone disagrees with them, there should still be this energy where we can hold space for each other, even if we don't agree with each other. And if you are always trying to make yourself feel small when it comes to your viewpoints, your philosophies, your education, or your ability to solve problems, or your ability to just see certain simple solutions, whatever it is, there's something that's unique about you here that has to do with either your spiritual journey, your mental journey, or your growth, your learning period in life. And they're saying that all of these things are what make you who you are. And if people are chastising you for the way that you believe, then they're not for you. And we're really in this place of trying to lead you towards people who appreciate, value, love, and accept you the way that you are. But if you don't share those parts of yourself, it's going to be nearly impossible to attract those types of people into your life, because you're the one that's feeling like you don't belong. Like, oh, I'm not going to be received or accepted by this group of people because I believe in, or I've learned, or I've seen XYZ. So I'm just not going to talk about it at all. So you're the one that's putting the limitation on yourself, and that comes from a past wound, which is understandable. But they're saying in order to face that past wound, you must begin again. You must begin by facing that and sharing that part of yourself with others. You're incredibly spiritual. You're incredibly smart. You're incredibly wise. And you have this gift of attracting people who care about what you say. But there's a fear that's coming up within that you're rejecting yourself, maybe because there's been drama that's surrounded you sharing your ideas, your beliefs, your thoughts, your gifts with others. There's been people who've created a lot of dramatic instances in your life, or there's been arrogance that's surrounded it, or there's been people who have made you feel small because of it. And they're saying that that was in the past, that now we're really trying to lead you to your soul family, people who are going to love and receive you as you are. But we can't bring you to those people if you don't love and receive yourself. So let's find out some more here. What a powerful message already. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. And that's even being in those uncomfortable situations with people who don't receive you. The reason being is when you put yourself out there like that, and if people are like, I don't believe anything that you just said, like, we're not going to get along because of that, then bow out. Hey, that's great. Thanks for letting me know. Now we don't have to waste each other's time. So I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and I'm going to go do the best I can on my journey. So until never again, bye. Right? There's no need to be cruel or ruthless about it. It's just, it's okay to tell people, hey, we don't get along. That's all right. It's not the end of the world. Like, you don't need to be liked by everyone. And not everyone needs to be liked by you. So let's see what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Yeah. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now, pile 2. Thank you. All right, bottom of the deck. Yeah. the Popess in the reverse. There's a lot of superficial energy that's around you right now. A lot of smooth talkers. Here's the thing. There's been a lot of people who've been very passive aggressive towards you, pile number 2. And it has they're trying to set you up for failure because you make them feel uncomfortable. Yeah, and they're in your life right now and they don't want to face reality. Right? It's like, if I don't face reality, then I don't have to deal with whatever it is that pile 2's been saying to me, even if that's the truth. Like, this would be something is like, maybe you have scientific proof on something, or you have historical documents that prove something. You know, it's like you have physical proof. Like, it feels like you have physical proof of something, and you're sharing it with someone who's very shallow, who's very unbalanced and very stubborn. And they're like, no, I don't care. You could bring to me the proof or whatever, and I'm still not going to believe it. Like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because that's the way I'm doing things. Like, they don't want to face reality. And I feel like in turn, they might have told you some very cruel and unkind things about yourself, right? That's what we were talking about. It's like, people have ostracized you, people have cut you out, they've been really cruel, they've been manipulative, they've been smooth talkers, they've tried to get you to believe what they believe, but you don't. Like, there's no amount of the way that they can talk that's going to make you believe how they believe. Yeah, you're unique. The 7 of Coins here, very unique. But there's also this belief that's feeling like these are the smooth talkers that have messed up your whole life. Right? With the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse here next to the King of Swords. There's something about this that you believe, well, if I didn't have to deal with them, like if I didn't have narcissistic parents, or if I didn't have a narcissistic sibling, or narcissistic children, or if I didn't have crazy parents, right? Parents who were crazy religious, or maybe they were atheists and you being spiritual, right? Like, it's like these differentiating beliefs that are coming out here. If I didn't have these situations, and with them trying to make me feel a certain way about, I would have been successful. And maybe you would have been, but that's not life, right? Like, you went through this, and instead of looking at it as blaming them for things that have failed in your life, come back to, what can you do to create success right now? Because the past is the past, and there's always still the future, and there's this present moment. And it's like, if you're not focusing on this present moment and you're reliving the past over and over again, yes, this was a difficult decision. Yes, you didn't deserve going through this. Yes, you didn't deserve being talked to this like this, or manipulated like this. Yes, you deserve to be seen for your unique ideas. Yes, you deserve to be accepted for who you are. Yes, you deserved unconditional love, and you still do. But that was not what they were capable of giving. And instead of focusing on blaming them for your hardships, acknowledge that what you went through with them was difficult, and however you felt about it is absolutely valid. But it's time to let go so that you can move on. And that's what your ancestors want you to do. It's like I was saying with the dice, there's this fear of showing yourself out there. And now we see the cards showing that the reason why the fear is there is because you haven't been accepted by those that were close to you. You were having to deal with very shallow people, very surface level people. They don't want to get deep. They don't want to learn more. They want to coast through life blissfully unaware. Even if they're uncomfortable and miserable, they like that. They don't want to change. And that's up to them. It's not up to you to elicit that change within them. It's up to you to choose yourself and to recognize that they're just not for you, and that's okay. And that's what your ancestors secretly want to tell you. There's maybe a Gemini or Pisces or a Sagittarius, or someone who has Jupiter in Gemini, or someone that has Taurus in their chart, a Leo, Libra, Sagittarius energy coming through really strongly here, Capricorn, or Aquarius placements, or Uranus placements in your chart. So the thing is that there's this denial where it's like, it's just easier to blame this person for my hardships. It's just easier to blame them for the fact that I haven't made it forward past this point. But blaming them is keeping you in a cycle of that old energy, and it's all in the mind. This is all in the mind. It's a cycle that you've been playing out the story over and over again. Well, if mom hadn't, you know, treated me the way that she did, and instead she actually loved me like she was supposed to, I would have been more successful. Maybe that's true, but she didn't. So instead of saying these things like, well, if she had when she didn't, right? Well, coulda, shoulda, woulda. It didn't happen that way, and that's what your ancestors are saying. They're very blunt. You have some very blunt ancestors here. And they're just reminding you that when you honor and respect your unique self, you're very unorthodox. You're very different. But you're different with the cause. You're different with the purpose. And you have yet to unfold to... oh, excuse me. Yeah, you have yet to unfold to the people who are going to receive and give back to you, because you're sheltering yourself from everybody. But sheltering yourself from everybody doesn't allow you to connect with those that are for you. And that's why with Venus here, they want you to be willing to open up so that you can receive the love that's meant for you, that kindness, that compassion that they want to bring into your life. Very succinct, very blunt. This is a hurt and heal with Chiron. This is a part of your journey that's the wounding that you've had, the deepest cut that you've gone through. No one's ever received you, pile 2. Like, no one's ever accepted you for you, and that's not fair, okay? Like, I want to reiterate that that's not fair. You didn't deserve that at all, but also recognizing that playing all of those scenarios over and over again in your head. I'm a Pisces. I'm totally guilty of this. I'm guilty of being stuck in my head, and it's wild sometimes, like how you can relive the past over and over and over again. And you can say, well, if only I had said this, or if only I had done that, or if only, if only is if only. It's not ever going to be a thing. We'll never know. You'll never know what would have happened if the situation had played out different, because it didn't play out different. And that's what acceptance is, right? Acceptance is just recognizing that what happened will never change. It will never change. It'll always be what it was, because that's what it was. It's over with. It's gone. What's that song? It's dead and gone. Like, that's it. It's yesterday is dead and gone. The past is dead and gone. There's no changing it. But we're also validating that this is a part of one of your deepest wounds, and facing it has been a challenge. Facing people who are like this has been a challenge, and we recognize that. We also want you to know that you're not alone, but if you can't let yourself shine dealing with these people, then they're always going to find a way back into your energy, because that's a blind spot for you. And that's what they're saying. It's like standing up for yourself right now is you being you no matter what. And when people are like, I disagree, I don't agree with you, I can't believe what you're believing in, saying, hey, that's cool. There's no need to take it personal. There's no bad blood there. It's just saying, that's cool. Thanks for letting me know that we don't resonate with each other. You saved me a whole lot of time. Looking at it from a different perspective, a much more positive perspective. Right? Instead of like, oh, how dare they don't like me? How dare they treat me this way? How dare they ignore me? How dare they put me down? How dare they manipulate me? You should be like, you know what? I'm really glad that that person showed their true colors so that I can move on and go find people who I am going to get along with. Thank goodness I don't have to keep putting up with that person. Right? Like, it's just about seeing it from a different perspective and honoring your unique self here. On the bottom of the deck. Yeah, Aquarius. Very unique energy. Originality, philanthropy, and progressive imaginings. Let your freak flag fly, baby. Show yourself to people. Don't be afraid to let yourself be seen. You'll never attract your tribe if you're always making yourself feel small. And it feels like one of the reasons why you're making yourself feel small is because you're always playing the, well, why? Why don't they see me? Why don't they accept me? Why don't they understand me? But then the question becomes, why don't you see you? Why don't you accept you? Why don't you understand you? Because ultimately, it's only how we treat ourselves. That's the only thing that matters on this journey, pile 2. And I know that it's so easy to point the finger. But growing up, I always believed when we point the finger, we have to remember that we have 3 fingers pointing back at us. right? And so really, who's the one to, if you want to place blame on here, it's not that there's any blame that's necessary. And I feel like blame is such a, it's a harsh thing in this reality, because it's saying like, I need somebody to blame. Somebody needs to be wrong because I need to be right. But there is nobody that's wrong or right. It's just simply as it is. It's literally like the red carpet. Okay. So you think about when they roll out the red carpet, it could have been any color. They could have chosen blue. They could have chosen black, but they chose red, right? They chose red. And when they unroll it, there's nothing except for it unrolling. It's just falling into place. That's just how it is. So say there's a burn on the carpet. Okay, there's a burn on the carpet, right? Like that's what life is. Sometimes we get burned. Sometimes we get hurt. Sometimes we get backstabbed. Sometimes we get betrayed. Sometimes we get loved. Sometimes we get accepted. Sometimes we get celebrated, right? Like this is just life. It's just the unfurling of our lives. And we're kind of along for the ride until the end, when we take our last breath. There's really the only thing that we can do is control how we choose to see that unfurling. We can either take it super personal and let it affect us and make us feel small and dim our shine, or we can choose to shine regardless of what comes our way. And that's what your ancestors want to remind you, that it's okay for you to shine regardless of what comes your way. You don't need to be accepted by someone to be validated. You only need to choose to validate yourself, pile 2. That's it. I know it's nice to be validated by people. We're social creatures. Of course we want to be validated by people in the world, but if you've been through so many circumstances and situations where no one validates you, no one sees you, no one loves you, then it's time to do that for yourself, to give the love that you want from everyone else to yourself. And it's time for you to honor and respect and value yourself in this moment, and recognize that you have worth as you are right now. You were born different. We're all born different. The difference is, though, is that you couldn't force yourself to fit in. And that's what gives you a leg up in this journey, because you chose not to fit in. It didn't mean that it wasn't wrought with disappointment, hurt, and pain. It means that no matter what, you chose not to limit yourself to a cookie cutter version of life. But it doesn't mean that you don't dim your light at the same time. You can definitely dim your light. Try to blend in. Try to stand on a wall, right? Like to blend into the wall. You can absolutely do that. But you didn't choose to play the game the way everybody else did. And that's powerful. That's a lot of self-resistance and self-strength. And that's what they're saying here. It's like, honor that and honor yourself right now. And don't worry about if this person or these people accept, love, respect you. Because the only thing that matters is if you accept, love, and respect yourself. Okay? Yeah, mystic. Revels in intimate union with the divine. It's okay for you to continue building that relationship with Source, with your guides, with your ancestors, with your angels, whoever it is that you connect with, or all of them. Right? That's okay, because they're always going to be there accepting, loving, and supporting you. But it's also okay for you to put yourself out in the world, because in order for you to connect with Soul Tribe, you have to let your light shine. So shine, shine, shine my way. Right? I think what's that song? Who sings that? It's called Shine Your Way, and I can't remember who sings it. It was in the Croods 2, though, the second movie. It was in the second movie. The shadow attribute is delusional rapport with the divine. Yeah, so there's a lot of people who judge you, saying like, oh, you're false, you're fake, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not really that connected. And I feel like that hurts, because you've had proof, like there's proof of it, that you are very connected. Like whether that's, you've said something was going to happen and it happened, and then they denied it and it hurts. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like they feel like they denied you and it hurt that they denied you, or they're just totally ignoring the fact that you do have this gift or whatever it is. You know what? Let them ignore you. Let them underestimate you. Let them not accept you, because they're the ones that are going to miss out. Don't try to force yourself back into their lives when they're never going to have the capacity to take care of you the way that you deserve to be taken care of. right? You don't need to be trying to force open doors that need to be closed, right? But sometimes we like to stick our foot in the door as it's closing, which hurts in and of itself, but we keep it there because we think we want what's on the other side of that door, and we don't, right? Yeah, something missing, intimacy or fertility issues. So they're definitely pointing out that there's something here that's missing, right? There's something here that's keeping a distance between you and this person or these people. They're just not the people meant to continue on the next chapters of your journey with you. Okay? They're not capable of bringing love and light into your life the way that you are. And it's not right or wrong. Like, that's the thing. I feel like everybody wants there to be a right and wrong, but it's not. There's no right or wrong here in this situation. You didn't deserve it. They're on their own journey, and sometimes you just have to let them go on their own journey, which I know, pile 2, I know is so much easier said than done. I know it's easy to be like, well, but why? You know, and especially like if it's family, it's just like, I'm family, we're blood. Why can't you see me that way? I see you that way. Why can't you see me that way? And it's because we're trying to force them through our lens of life, and they just don't want to see it that way. And that's okay. They have a right to see life however they want to, which means that we equally have a right to choose whether or not we're going to stick around for that, or we choose to move on, right? It's not right or wrong. We just have to choose what's right or wrong for ourselves. Yeah, Neptune, get lost in the lavender haze. It's about seeing beyond the illusion. Recognizing that behind everything, even the pain and suffering that we go through, there is still love at the core. And sometimes it's really hard for us to accept. Sometimes it's because, you know, like, how can there be love at the core when this person was malicious to me, or they had duplicitous actions, or they were nefarious in the way that they showed up? You know, and it's reminding ourselves that no matter what, at the end of the day, when we strip back all of the ego, all that's left is the soul for each and every one of us. Even the, if you will, the labeled the worst people on earth, if you strip back all of the emotional ego, all that's left is the soul. And the soul is love at its ultimate aligned self. And we're all connected, you know, many leaves in one tree. So we're all on this journey together. We're all sharing this time and space together. But there's no sense in trying to force something when they want to be by themselves and see themselves as separate. That doesn't mean that we have to see ourselves as separate and be by ourselves. And that's why they want you to continue to build that relationship with the divine. What do you need to release? Yeah, this is about letting go of the past. Let the past be the past. Let the past be the past. Which, again, I know it's easier said than done. I've been there. I've talked to clients who've been there. It's just giving yourself space and time to heal and grieve what it is that you feel that you've lost. And again, I say what you feel you've lost because it's something that matters and is important to you. And that's what makes it matter, pile 2. Enthusiasm, 343. Approach life with an optimistic attitude. Even in the face of challenges, be excited about the opportunities that lie ahead and embrace them with open arms. With arms wide open. Was that a Creed song? Yeah. Welcome to this place. I'll show you everything with arms wide open. Yeah, so there's like this need to see things differently so that you can embrace life. Fully embrace life. Right? And recognize that when people show their true colors, when they're showing you who they are, we can thank them. Even if it hurts, we can thank them. Because when they show us their true colors, it allows us to make a discerning decision for ourselves on our journey. So I'm going to get one of the Ancestor Tarot that I have today. And it's the Ancestral Path Tarot. I was going to use it, but then I ended up getting called to using the Tarot Marseille. And so I'm going to get one of these today for you as kind of like a guidance message for pile number 2. Okay, here it is. These cards are massive. They're really hard to shuffle. No matter how I hold them, my poor small hands can barely hang on to them. I can't even hold them this way. There's just no hope for me. My hands are so small. They're almost as big as my Tarot Marseille cards, which is wild because they're pretty big. Bottom of the deck, yeah. The Ten of Staves. This is carrying responsibility. This could be familial responsibility, especially since this is an ancestral reading, right? This could be familial responsibility, like people expecting you to accept them the way they are, people expecting you to continue showing up, people who expect you to be in that state of energy where it's like, well, I'm never going to change, so don't ask me to, but you still have to be kind and loving to me no matter how I treat you. Like there's just some sort of expectation here. I also feel like with these people, whoever they are, it's like you've already experienced a lot of life. Like there's been a lot of time that you've spent with them. So I said it feels like family, but this could be a friend, it could be coworkers, it could be anybody in your life. And you've experienced a lot with them, and there's this feeling of like, well, shouldn't our loyalty be built based on the time, the amount of time that we've spent near and around each other? But time doesn't equal loyalty, and it never will. Loyalty is from someone who wishes to be loyal and has the integrity to practice that no matter what. Because they care about you, they care about themselves, and they respect themselves enough to honor and respect another person, right? Everything we do for someone else comes from something deep within us that we're capable of giving to ourselves. And so if you have loyalty in your life, it's because that person values loyalty, right? So if you value loyalty, you're naturally going to give that to others. If you value respect, you're naturally going to give that to others. It's something that you value. It's necessary to give that to yourself so that you can have the capacity to truly gift that to others. And the people in your life right now, they just don't have the capacity to gift that. The Alchemist, yeah, you're changing your life right now. You're manifesting something good here. Okay, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. You're learning valuable lessons. The Shadows, misuse of power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice. So I do feel like this goes back to show like whoever this is, they're trying to make it seem like you don't know what you're saying, you don't know what you're doing, but you're about to show more than just these people that you're capable of manifesting a life that you desire. Yeah, phobias. This is a fear for you. Anxiety and overcoming fears. This is something that's really difficult. Maybe doing it alone. Maybe traversing the path alone. Or maybe taking this journey alone. Or whatever it is. There's something here that there's a fear that's coming out. Like I'm afraid to show myself, right? The fear of showing oneself that we got from the beginning. New moon. Plant fresh seeds. Yeah. So there's something here that you're going to be reaping the rewards of soon. And this says new moon in Aries, it's time to take action. So we got 2 new moon energies coming out here. Yeah, so it's time for you to take action, to have that fresh new beginning, but it's only you being able to give that to yourself. Whoever's involved here, they're not going to be able to give that to you. This is something you have to choose for yourself, okay? Adaptability, 765. You are flexible and capable of facing changes. Trust in your strength to navigate any challenges that arise. Yeah, so this is something you're capable of changing. This is something that you're capable of facing too. And they want you to know that, and that they are with you every step of the way. So we're going to kind of look at this as some guidance, see what comes through here. The Lovers, interesting. So this could be a spouse. This card came out in pile 1 too. You might have resonated with pile number 1, and that's only going to be for a few of you. If you felt called to pile number 1, there might be additional messages for you there too. But with the Lovers here, there's this energy where this could be someone that you are in a relationship with. This could be a spouse. This could be an ex. This could be someone that, the mother wound coming through here with the Lovers card. This could also be someone that is going to come in when you allow yourself to be seen. Or this is someone who's trying to come in and be present with you, but you're still carrying these responsibilities. You're still carrying these hardships. You're still carrying these burdens of the past. There's something about a new hope here for you, about purifying your soul. And realizing that even though maybe this is like a labeled relationship that you're trying to let go of and surrender fully to the divine, right? That's coming in as well. So it's like surrendering that. And it's like, but you know, like I've loved this person since the moment I met them. I've always had hope that things were going to work out, but it's just not working out. Like sometimes we have to look at the reality of the situation instead of what we hope it could be or what we think the potential is. Because we're only deluding ourselves when we're looking at it through rose-colored glasses, which is our take on what we think it should be. So the same with what if, what should. It's like those are two things that can definitely derail us on our journey. And what's being asked of you now is to look at it from what is. What is actually unfolding? Is this someone showing up from a place of honesty, integrity, love, acceptance? Do they care about you? Do they want to see you succeed? Are they ignoring you? Are they gossiping about you? Are they treating you like you don't matter? Are they treating you like dirt? You know, like these are all things to look at instead of looking at it through, well, I see their potential. I know they're capable of it. That's nice. Everybody's capable of it. But looking at someone through the lens of potential can keep you stuck in some really unsavory situations for an incredibly long time. And many of us have done that. I know I'm guilty of that too. Okay, so you're not alone in that energy, but that's what they're saying here. Looking at the situation without a filter on. What's actually happening? Is this something that if you were your best friend in the situation that you're in right now, is this something, what kind of advice you would give to them? Is this something that you would say, it's okay that you're going through this? Like you should just put up with it. You should just ignore the red flags of this person. You should just ignore the red flags of this situation. Like if this is somebody you loved and adored and cared about and would put your hands in the fire for, like if this was truly your best friend, you'd be like, heck no, I would go to battle for my best friend. Shoot, I'd be the one that'd be punching, you know, people in the face, telling them to get the heck out of the way. You're not going to treat my friend that way, right? So if we can do that for a person that we love outside of ourselves, why are we having struggles doing that for ourselves? And that's what your ancestors want you to know. This is what they secretly want to tell you, is that they want you to be that fierce with yourself. If somebody treats you like dirt, be the first one to show up and throw punches. Not literally. Okay. Not literally, please. This is not me saying, hey, go fight physically. No, I am not saying that. What I'm saying is that be the first one to show up to defend yourself, to help yourself walk away, to be the shoulder that drags you out of a ring where life beat you black and blue. Be the first one to carry yourself out. Be the first one to respect yourself. Be the first one to love yourself. Be the first one to care about what's going on and to know that you do matter. Be the first one to say, hey, it's okay. I got you no matter what. I'm never going to let this happen to you again. I'm always going to be there to support you. And I just got so emotional. Why? Because you deserve that, pile 2. You deserve that. You deserve to be the one that picks you up every time. Not waiting for some white knight in some shining armor to show up and hopefully save you from the situation. Be that for yourself. Ride in on a majestic steed, a unicorn, a pony for all I care. Be that for yourself. Please. Because if you don't do that for you, no one is ever going to be that for you. And no one will ever do that for you in life anyways. Even the people we learn to love and who come from a place of unconditional love, they'll always support us. They'll always be there for us and they'll always fight for us. But they can't save us if we can't save ourselves. It feels like a desperate cry from your ancestors. Like, please, please save yourself. Please let yourself be seen. How you save yourself is respecting, honoring, and embracing yourself right now as you are and realizing that you deserve love in this moment. There's nothing you need to change. Nothing. Why? Because you're perfectly imperfect in this moment. You're unique. You're different. You are so worthy of love. Let me tell you a story before we get to your oracle card. So months ago, I haven't told anybody this. Months ago, I met a person online. Just a friend. That's all we are. We're a friend. And I've been through some ups and downs, and I have my best friend who if you're watching this, you know who you are. You're my best friend. And this person who I'm talking about, we're friends. I wouldn't say we're best friends, but this is a friend that I've never experienced before. They live across the world, and they're just such a gentle soul. They're just truly a kindred soul for me. And this person is just, since the get-go, has been so loving and so kind. And they know nothing about my professional life. They know nothing about what I do for work or anything like that. Not because they haven't asked. It's just because I haven't shared that with them. It's not because I don't trust them. It's just because I want them to know me for me, right? And the other day, I hadn't reached out to them for a while, and I reached out to them, and they sent me this absolutely beautiful message. And I just said, there's a part of me that will always wonder why you're so loving and accepting of me. And it's because I've never really experienced that in my life. Like, personally, I have never really experienced that in my life. Like, I've always dealt with people who've been very rough and judgmental, and who've kicked me to the curb, who've lied to me, betrayed me, used me, manipulated me. Like, I've just been surrounded by some really harsh people in my life, and I've never just been with a person that, not knowing anything about me, has just given so much love and acceptance. And like, it doesn't have to be much more than what it is. It's just truly just someone who, they said, this is what they said. They were like, I'm always going to cheer for you. I'm always going to support you no matter what. Like, I'm always going to hope the best for you. And it just came out of the blue for me. And when I said that, like, I questioned why you give me this love, not because I don't feel like I don't deserve it. It's just, it's shocking to me because I've never really experienced a type of love and kindness like what you give. And they responded, the first thing they said was, don't ever question whether or not you deserve this type of support and love, because you absolutely do. You're an incredible person. You're an amazing woman. You have so much to offer. And it just blew my mind, because it wasn't them saying it to gain any kind of, status with me, or to gain anything from me. It was just coming from a very genuine place. I know people are like, but it's online. How can you tell it's genuine? Look, I've talked to enough people online. I've dealt with enough people online. Like, my gift goes over the airwaves, and I can definitely tap in, and I've spent enough time with Source in regards to this person. And again, it's not anything. It's just literally a long distance friendship. That's all it is. And it's just, it's so meaningful. And I think the thing is that I was brave enough to just be who I am with them, without using what I do for work or what I do for my day-to-day. Like, I was just me. I just showed up as me. Just Becky. And I was accepted as just Becky, and it blew my mind, and it's like, I'm not saying you guys don't accept me or anything like that. I think that you guys are such a phenomenal tribe to be along with, and I'm so honored. But I feel like it's just important, because when you finally let yourself be free of the burdens and the walls that you placed in front of yourself to protect yourself from the hurt, that's when real people start to approach you, right? That's when my best friend started to approach me, was when I was willing to start being vulnerable and open with her. And we've built a friendship over the last 2 years. It's been pretty cool. It's just been really cool. Like, I didn't get a best friend until I was in my 30s, right? Like, it didn't happen for me until I was in my 30s. And so these are things to think about. It's like, you hear people who, oh, I have a best friend that I had since childhood. Well, my best friends that I had since childhood, they did me really dirty. They did me really dirty growing up. And when we got into our 20s, they were probably the worst people that I could have had around me. But we thought we were going to be friends for all of time. My one best friend that I had when I was a little girl, that we said we were always going to be there for each other, we lost touch. We lost touch, and no matter how many times I tried to reach out, she just didn't want to put the effort back in. And so you realize along the way that sometimes just people aren't going to be there for you, and that's okay. I'm not mad at her. I'm not hurt. Now, like, I was hurt by it then, but I'm not hurt by it anymore. I just realized our lives went in two completely different directions, and that's okay. Right? But if you don't stand up for yourself, you can't ever expect someone else to stand up for you and rise up to meet you where you're at. And that's what I feel like they're saying here. All right, let's see your oracle card. I share too, like I felt really called to sharing that right now. It's like I said, I haven't really told anybody about this person. Like, I just don't really talk about them at all. They're just kind of like, I guess, my best kept secret, if you will. But it's not even a secret. It's just I never felt called to telling anybody about them. And right now I just felt really called to telling you, Pile 2, because I feel like it's just an example of when you truly let yourself be you without having a podium to stand behind. And for me, sometimes the podium is being a tarot reader and a psychic medium. Like, sometimes that is a podium for me. And there's expectations that go with that. And when I didn't have that podium, I felt raw and exposed. And, you know, we make podiums out of anything, right? You can make podiums out of being an artist. You can make a podium out of being a talented singer, out of a talented speaker, whatever. Like, you can make a podium out of anything. And oftentimes our emotional ego does. But when you show up raw and vulnerable and exposed, those are the moments that you find the people who accept you in that raw and exposed state. But that's the state where we feel like we get hurt the worst. And that's why it's the hardest part of ourselves to show. But it's also the most powerful part of ourselves that we can show. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to read this from the book and see what it says. Teach and share. Instill, instruct, and educate. Yeah, so there's something about this situation that you're supposed to share with others. But I do feel like that comes back to what I was feeling in the beginning. Sharing yourself. Sharing yourself. Like, this is just very vulnerable. Like, thinking about an elder, someone who's wise in the tribe, right? Sharing their wisdom with the children. Even if the children don't recognize the power behind the wisdom they're showing now, one day they'll grow up and those seeds will have taken root and they'll recognize how powerful this was and how raw and real it was. And that's what it feels like right now. It's like showing your raw and real self, where it's like you're planting seeds with people. And the people who it's meant to be received by are the people who are going to help you change your life in a very powerful way. And it's not them doing much other than just being a support system for you. Let's see what this says from the book. Teach and share. It says Buddhism was introduced to Tibet in the 7th century, where it developed in relative isolation. Over the centuries, the unique culture, identity, and language of the region became inseparably linked to Tibetan Buddhism, where great emphasis is placed on spiritual masters and teachers of Dharma. The teachers, called lamas, complete extensive study over many years to prepare for their role in providing healing initiations and ceremonies and teaching their traditions, beliefs, insights, and wisdoms. The lamas, monks, and nuns also have the added responsibility of protecting and promoting Tibet's environment, language, and culture. Tibetan lamas and monks devote their lives to the study and practices of Buddhism. However, religious practice is part of daily life for most Tibetans. Most families throughout the ages have proudly sent a child to the monastery to be educated as a monk. You are not alone. Your ancestors speak. The loudest line here. You are not alone. You may be questioning why you're here and what your true purpose is. This card has appeared to let you know that you are a natural teacher and it is part of your life purpose. You don't need to be a school teacher or a child care worker. You can show people a new way of being or looking at the world. It's the way you look at the world. Oh my gosh, your perspective is unique to you. What an intense and amazing confirmation source. Thank you, ancestors. You may be teaching your children or grandchildren everyday things, or you may be encouraging a friend to try something new or difficult. Value the wisdom and the skills that you pass on to others, pile 2. Look at the ways you can incorporate teaching or mentoring into your life so others may benefit. You have the ability to connect with people from all walks of life and show them the way. Try not to overthink this aspect of your purpose. You may already be teaching others without even realizing it. Enjoy sharing your gifts with others. Oh my goodness. Like, let's wrap up your reading into a card. Really. There's so much here. There's like a fear of putting yourself out there, but you have so much to teach and to share with others. And I do feel like the main thing is it's feeling like you're alone, right? Being the mystic here, feeling like you're alone, but recognizing that you're not alone, and that until you allow yourself to be raw and vulnerable at all stages, that's not a weakness. Raw and vulnerability is real. That's not a weakness. It's your greatest superpower. And when you're able to walk without the podium, whatever it is standing in front of you, you're going to impact so many people, but you're also going to call in the people who are for you in this lifetime. And you're going to realize, like, you've never been alone. Of course you feel that already because you're connected to the divine. But why I shared the story that I shared with you is because of that, realizing that when you're raw and open and vulnerable, you're going to connect with people who see that as a gift and a true strength, and embrace it fully and embrace you fully as you are in this moment. Not embrace a version of you that they think you need to be. They embrace the version of you that you already are. Okay, so wow, your reading went longer than I thought it was going to, but that's a truly powerful message coming in for you today, pile number 2. So this is what I see for you here. If you feel like this is your reading, leave the little strong arm emoji down below and say, today I choose to let go of my fears and I choose to embrace my raw, open, and vulnerable state, knowing that this is where my greatest power lies. And I let myself shine into the world, knowing I'll be accepted by those who are meant to see and accept me now. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything you need in the description box. I would like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to your ancestors for this truly powerful message today, pile 2. And until next time, stay human. Wow, I got the hiccup. Stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice, which also has Libra on it, and just something to choose from, or if you felt called to this mystery feather, as we called it in the beginning, or perhaps you felt called to these cards, you actually are the only one that got 2 cards from the get-go, then this is going to be your reading on what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. We're all here sharing this human experience together. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. I do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. If the message does resonate with you, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And with that, please know that your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing them with you today. So we're going to go ahead and hop to it and find out, pile 3, what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Okay, so we've got the 8th house, we have Virgo energy, and we have Mars. I just heard like aggressively taking action. There's something here that you are worried about because you're a perfectionist. I feel like it has to do with your spiritual journey or something that you're trying to connect to your spiritual journey. So it could be like a spiritual job, or it could be just like you sharing your information, sharing your gifts with others. It could just be you putting yourself out there. Could also be about personal empowerment, transformation, letting go of guilt and shame, and letting go of people who might be jealous of you. But it feels like you're trying to create something and you're fighting with perfectionism. And you want it to be perfect before you put it out. And yet that is also deterring you from creating it fully. And so they want you to aggressively take action. Complete it. Just focus on completing it. Then focus on fixing it, or editing it, or working on the small details. But don't edit it too much or fix it too much, because there's something raw about just putting forth the effort and completing it. And that could be anything, right? That could be taking a first step on your journey, especially with the 8th house here. It is something you're dealing with, the shadow here. And the shadow is preventing you from moving forward because of needing or wanting to appear a certain way. So they're showing me, like, if you're learning a language, like, I don't want to speak a new language because I want to make sure that I can fully communicate before I actually communicate with someone, which in theory sounds good, but in practicality, it's just unobtainable, right? Like, you have to learn how to speak from the basics, messing up and tripping over yourself, saying the wrong words in order to ever be able to have a full conversation with somebody. And that's just the example they're giving me here. Or you're trying to build a hobby or something like that. And it's like maybe you want to play an instrument, right? And you want to be perfect at playing the instrument so you can impress people, but you have to start with the basics, like scales and things like that. And that may not be as impressive as being able to play Mozart songs or Beethoven or something like that, right? Of course it's not, but they all had to start with the scales too, right? It's just something about starting with the basics here, but there's something that's holding you back because you want it to appear perfect and impressive when it's put out to everybody. But there's, the thing is that most people, they appreciate the raw reality of imperfection. Most people appreciate that because it's more relatable. Like, oh, I can relate to someone that's messed up or isn't perfect or struggles with this or struggles with that. Like in the language learning world, if you want to be a polyglot, everybody's always just like, talk from day one, read a whole bunch, listen a whole bunch, and eventually you'll figure it out, right? Like, you'll just get to this point where, and then they start talking in another language and it appears perfect. Versus someone who is showing you, from day one, I'm going to struggle through it with you, so come along the journey with me, right? You might show up as a human and trust the person that you watch struggle through it, versus the person who comes out and just appears perfect. And that's what Source and your ancestors are trying to say here, is that when you embrace the messy parts of life, you become more relatable and people appreciate that more. So don't try to create something perfect, because it's almost as if the imperfectness of it is what makes it perfect. And that's what they want you to begin to embrace with your journey, whether that's the spiritual side of things or something that you're trying to create. Let's get some more on it though. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Pile 3. What your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Okay, thank you. Yeah, what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. And I do feel like that could come from being made fun of in the past, or being judged or graded in the past on your performance. Yeah, so strength flying out. You're so much stronger than you realize, and you can overcome this, but there's no need to repress those old feelings either. You know, like if somebody treated you that way in the past, validate how you feel instead of letting that become the cage upon which you don't do anything, right? What your ancestors secretly want to tell you. Yeah. And then trusting that the world is going to take you in all different directions. Like there's no guarantee moving forward, right? There's all different paths that you're going to take. There's all different scenarios that can unfold in your life. And that's embracing the messy parts. Okay. But this is saying too, like there's somebody that you loved here in the past. So this could have to do with also trying to find love in life, and just feels like no matter what, you can't find somebody. Like everybody's not taking care of themselves mentally, or they want a boo thing, or they just want to, you know, boo up for the night or whatever. That's what I was hearing. It's an interesting way to put it, but we're just going to go with it. Or they are just looking for a hit it and quit it type situation. You know, they don't want something serious, and that could be here. Or your ex really did a number on you and left you feeling broken, and you were unable to recover from that situation here with the Four of Wands in the reverse. But things are finally starting to balance out, and you're doing good. Whatever it is that you're focusing on, you're doing an amazing job at it. And I do feel like you see that. Like you notice that too. You notice that you're making strides. You notice that you're going somewhere. But there's still always this fear and this anxiety that creeps back up with like, but it's not perfect. And that is keeping you from pursuing some aspect of your journey right now. I'm not perfect at it. But the creative journey is imperfect. In fact, I think I saw destruction, or what was it? Destruction. Who was it that said this? Picasso, maybe. It's like a part of creation is to embrace destruction first, or something along those lines. But it was like under the quote of the day for today. And it came up, and that's interesting that this is coming up now. But yeah, I think it was Picasso who said that. I'm not sure. You can definitely check it out. But that's that part of destruction that we embrace, is the messy parts of life. Like, there is no true perfection in life. That's just impossible, because even the perfect scenario that we see, there's always someone that can be even more advanced, light years ahead of us. You know, think about 50 years ago when the Olympics were breaking world records. 50 years ago, right? And then think about 10 years ago, how people in the Olympics broke those records, right? So there's always an opportunity to become sharper. There's always an opportunity to become more capable, more in tune, more perfect. But it's actually not. It's actually more imperfect and embracing the messy sides of life. That's what it is. It's about, you could say it's becoming better, but it's really just, it's just getting more in tune with the journey itself. But there's also this fear that's coming up here where they're saying that you're worried that things aren't going to balance out from whatever this hard situation was. This feels like an ex, okay? The Four of Wands in the reverse talks about romance. And it talks about broken heart and being left in a romantically frustrated situation and something falling apart. So this is feeling like what has led to this fear of perfectionism is that maybe you had an ex who was a narcissist, or who always made it seem like it was your fault, or that you weren't good enough. And you're still holding on to some of those beliefs. And of course, they're not easy to let go, but with the sun in reverse at the middle of your reading, we're seeing that this has created some sort of cage around you where you're not letting yourself be seen or shine the way that you deserve to let yourself be seen and shine. And that's definitely been an underlying message for the entirety of the reading. And so I do want to just point out really quick, if you spent all 3 readings with me, which, wow, thank you so much. This is a long reading. I wasn't expecting it to be, but you can leave a purple heart down below. That makes you a part of my Purple Heart Club, or just say that I made it. I know what that means. And I just want to say thank you to anyone that spends any amount of time on these readings with me. It's truly a blessing. But with the sun in reverse here, it's just reminding you to free yourself from something that's confining. But there's also this overwhelming energy where it's like, if you don't dim your light, you're going to get crushed by something, and it feels more spiritual, emotional type crushing, or even like mental crushing, like where someone's going to abuse you emotionally. But you have faced a part of this within yourself. You've definitely healed a massive wound that was inflicted on you because of this situation. And it doesn't have to just be a romantic situation. This could be anybody that betrayed you or hurt you, or something that feels raw, maybe even in some cases fresh, but I don't feel like it's super fresh. I do feel like many of you have taken time to heal this. You've definitely faced this part of yourself, but because of this situation and whatever unfolded in this situation, it's forced you into this place where you feel like, I can't put myself out there, maybe in regards to poetry or writing or creating a movie or creating a documentary or being a journalist or being a musician or being a coach, a life coach or a health coach, or going towards, you know, my yoga teacher training or something like that, whatever the case may be, right? It could be anything, being an architect in construction or building something or creating something. There's just something here where it's like you feel like, I can't go towards it because I need it to be perfect in order for it to feel like it's substantial. And that's the illusion here. And they want you to embrace that life is full of twists and turns and unknowns. And when you embrace that side of life, then there's so much more that can happen for you. There's so much more that can unfold for you. And they want you to trust in that process. But it feels like it's just been something that's been really difficult for you to do, which is okay too. Like, they don't want you to pressure yourself. They just want you to observe that part of yourself. The part that's been like, oh, you're not enough, or oh, you can't do this. Because right now they want you to understand that you do have the power to overcome this. You do have the power within you to face this part of you. And that's not going to hold you back anymore. But it has to be looked at because it's controlling right now your desires, your drives, and your ambition. And you have to allow yourself to take risks. This is mastery of self here. And through that, you will be able to focus on putting forth the effort towards actualizing your dreams, or actualizing whatever this is that you want to create. Right now, you're having difficulty facing reality out in the open, right? It's putting a damper on your shine. And there's someone or something that's too intense here from the past or in the present that you've come to accept in your life. So this is like someone that was a narcissist, or someone that was just very emotionally, spiritually, mentally abusing. You know, like, you've grown comfortable with it, and they're saying, like, stop letting yourself be comfortable in that situation and instead see it for the discomfort that it is, and allow yourself to grow beyond that, because you're moving into a place where things are going to start really working out for you. And there's a lot of complex twists and turns ahead of you, and self-belief is what's going to propel you forward, Pile 3. And that self-belief is getting dampened by this heavy energy, believing that what they had to say about you was right, or believing that what they believed in you was the truth of who you were. And that's not the case at all. Okay, you're so much stronger than they are. You're so much stronger than the situation. You have so much more to offer. And trusting in that is going to be profound for you on your journey. Because you're about to receive recognition and acknowledgement. But I feel like it's a need to recognize and acknowledge yourself through all of this. And that's something that it feels like you've been having trouble with here. Is recognizing and acknowledging that you have the talent, you have the ability to do this. It's like, I want it to be perfect, because if it's not perfect, then it feels like I don't belong with other people who are doing this. But the truth is that everybody struggles with that, right? Like, any content creator, myself included, we all struggle with that. Posting it live, you know, like, what if this isn't received? Or what if this is my worst possible content yet, or what, you know, like it's all these what ifs that arise. And it's like, sometimes you just have to trust that it's going to work out. Like if you're getting called to do it, there's a reason for that. So trust in the power of that calling and go towards that, and trust that it's unfolding for a purpose in that way. Let's get some more on it here. Yeah, house 1 coming out here for you. Individuality, your self-image, and your approach to life. This has altered the way that you see yourself, and it's also altered the way that you approach things around you. And it feels like it's someone else, or maybe it's a group of other people. This has been like a repeat cycle in your life, and it's come up quite a bit in your life. And this has created a lot of dissonance for yourself. And so you've been struggling to believe in yourself, to believe in your abilities and your capabilities. But I feel like what they're saying, you know, is like, take that aggressive action. It's just showing yourself that you can do it. When you sit down and you carve out a couple of days, like maybe a whole week, you carve out an hour every day, and you just don't even worry about what you're producing. Just sit down and start to finish, and set a timer. And when the timer goes off, put it away. Don't even look at it. Walk away. And then tomorrow when you show up, do the same thing. Show up. Don't worry about what was done before. Sit down for the whole hour. Put in the effort. When the timer goes off, shut it all down and walk away. And keep doing this until it's finished. And the purpose of this is to show you that it has nothing to do about perfection. Like, works of art that have gone out to the public, right? We were talking about Pablo Picasso. It's like, he was not well received when he first started doing art. It wasn't until, you know, maybe even centuries later, but definitely decades later, that he started to become appreciated as an artist. And that's many artists for you. Right? People don't always necessarily recognize the beauty in it right away. But if we're solely creating to be acknowledged by others, we're only doing ourselves a disservice. We're not truly creating, because we're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it in hopes that it's going to be validated by someone else. We're doing it in hopes that it's going to be even received by someone else. When truthfully, the only thing that matters is that you showed up and you enjoyed it, right? If it gets one view, or if it gets one accolade, or if it gets one moment of fame or whatever, or somebody's like, oh, hey, that was really good, whatever it is, right? That even that doesn't matter. What matters is that what you put out, you did it for yourself. And that's the only thing that matters. And when we look at life this way and through this lens, we begin to understand how much approval we've sought from other people. But I feel like your approval seeking, this might not have been something that was natural for you, or that you had to really overcome until a past relationship that forced you into feeling like nothing you did was good enough. And when you felt that way, it became your reality, and that reality began to get cemented into you every time that situation arose. So you're not good enough. You have to change yourself in order for me to love you. You have to change yourself in order for me to accept you. And so somewhere along the way, that impacted the way that you saw yourself, where you're like, I have to change everything about myself to be accepted, because who's going to accept me as I am, raw and real and open and here. You might have resonated with one of the other piles as well. So yeah, house 12, spiritual transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. So this is something you're healing. But also part of your purpose is, and this sounds so deep, right? And it sounds like being a martyr in some cases, but it's not. It's like sacrificial service. It feels like whatever you're trying to produce, and it doesn't matter. It could be being an architect. It could be being a landscaper. This could be you going and teaching kids, or being, you know, an office worker, whatever it is that you find enjoyment in, whatever it is that matters to you. Okay. It can be huge. It can be small. They're all equally important. They're all equally inspirational, and they all have the ability to equally impact the world. And I feel like what Source is saying is like, this is your sacrificial service, is when you stop looking at being perfect and truly just pour into what it is that you want to create without reserve. Not only do you tap into the divine, but you will one day inspire so many people because of this work. And it's not about being accepted right now. It's not even about being accepted one day. It's about doing it for yourself and letting that be the power that continues to carry you on. Free yourself from this cage. And we talked about that with the sun. There's feels like a cage that's been placed around you. And it's just, it's very oppressive, but it feels like you're the only one that can open it. No one else is going to open it. Like, people accepting you and appreciating your work, that's not going to open the cage, right? It's you appreciating and accepting your work as it is because it's meaningful to you. And that means that it matters. And that's the thing. It's like when you accept that, then you grow. Yeah, destroyer. Oh my gosh. What was I saying about the Picasso line? The part of creation means to embrace destruction or something like that. We were talking about that earlier. I know I mentioned that just earlier because we were talking about that with the Empress card showed up here. Yeah, right here. The Empress card. Yeah, so this is a part of your journey, is to embrace the messy aspects, the things that are potentially destructive. And what feels potentially destructive here is letting go of a limiting belief that you're not enough to do whatever it is that you want to do. You're the only person that can bring this creation into this world the way that you'll bring it in. No one else will create it the way that you create it. It doesn't mean that other people won't create something similar, but it's like if you give an idea to a person for a song, right? Like you give them the start of a melody and you give them a couple of lines to a song. You give that to 10 different songwriters. You're going to get 10 different songs. They're going to be, even though you gave them the start to a melody and a line, like there's just no possible way that they're going to create the same thing because they're 10 different people. So it doesn't matter if your idea's been done before or not. That's not what matters here. What matters is that you let go of what's been destroying you and keeping you captive. And that's the limiting belief that you have to be perfect to put it out there. Nobody's perfect, pile 3. Nobody, including yourself. And please don't put that pressure on yourself. And please don't act like you need to carry that pressure on yourself because that's overwhelming. It's too much. It says light attributes here, releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for new life. And the shadow is intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potentials. So you've dealt with people who have tried to destroy your dreams. They've tried to destroy your potential. They've even made you believe you're not good enough. But remember, even though they've convinced us, they may have convinced us of that. Ultimately, it's our responsibility to let go of the belief. Even if they convinced us of that, right? Did they play a powerful part in that? Maybe. Did we deserve that? Not at all. But no matter what that person or those people played a part in our lives as, it's our responsibility to let it go. We have to face the music, right? Look, shaman coming out here for you. Healing energy. This is something you're healing. This is something, too, that your ancestors are wanting you to heal. I feel like this particular trauma that you're going through has been carried through a lot of your energetic DNA. This is something that your family's dealt with. This is something that's been carried on. Like, they've stopped creating because of this belief that we have to be perfect. We have to hold some record to be accepted. We have to be, applause worthy the first time out in order for us to feel like it matters. And no, that's the illusion. That's the illusion that's kept you trapped. It's the illusion that's kept your family trapped. It's the illusion that's kept your ancestors trapped. And that's why they want to focus on that now. Yeah, addictions. Reactive behaviors and reclaiming your power. Yeah, you could have definitely come from another pile. Wow. Reclaiming your power. That's the main thing here. Letting go of those reactive behaviors. Letting go of those addictions. Letting go of those distractions even. And reclaiming your power. When we stand in our power, it's being confident in who we are no matter what happens. If today I struggle through speech, right? We were talking about learning a language at some point on your reading, right? So the thing is like, oh, I have to be able to have a full adult conversation with somebody without any mistakes so that I sound competent. That's the thing. We want to seem competent, especially as adults. You know, when we're kids, we don't worry about that stuff. We just focus on what we like to do. You want to play an instrument as a kid, you're going to be so zoned in learning how to play the instrument. You're not worried about the mistakes. You're worried about just continuing the practice. But as adults, we don't see it that way because we've been hurt. We've been, you know, called out on our mistakes or whatever. We've been judged or graded because of our mistakes, right? Because we grade everything. The older we get, the more we get graded on life and everything around us. But thinking about that, right? And I love this because I was watching, in a Spanish podcast, I was watching that and they said that this is something that everybody deals with. Okay. So like learning a language, but it's a real human thing of us to go through. And in this Spanish podcast, they mentioned the guy was trying to say something and all of a sudden he stuttered and he said the wrong word and he stopped and they both laughed. And he says, that's exactly my point. I speak Spanish. It's my first language. And here I am. And I still messed up. You know, like I think about that too. How many times have you guys watched a reading where I completely biffed a line or where I totally just messed up what I was saying? And I've mentioned along the way, the reason I don't edit those out of my video is because that's real. That's real. I could edit it out and make it seem like I'm the most perfect speaker out there, but that's not real. And that's not who I am. Like if you ever meet me in human form, face to face, human form, whatever that is. Okay. But yeah, if you ever meet me face to face, like I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to stutter sometimes. Sometimes I'm not even going to know what to say, or sometimes I'm going to think I'm cracking a great joke and it totally bombs. Why? Because that's just who I am and it's human. It's human of us. Nobody is 100% perfectly witty all the time. They're witty because they crack jokes all the time and they find what works and they use that pattern as a means to gain information. Like that's what life is. You practice, you get better. That's just the natural order of things. And I heard someone say practice makes perfect. That's actually that same limiting belief that we want to walk away from. Practice makes better because there's no such thing as perfect. It just doesn't exist. If it did, we would be made perfect beings and we're not. We're made imperfect. Like that's just who we are. Fight the good fight. Keep fighting though. Keep fighting to do what you want to do. Keep fighting for yourself. Keep fighting to create. Right? It's the good fight. This is for you. This is for you and it matters. And that's what's making it so important. It doesn't matter if it's accepted. It doesn't matter if it's received. It doesn't matter if it's validated by everyone else. The only person who needs to validate that is you. It's enough that it matters to you. It's enough that it has weight on your heart. That's enough for validation for you. That should be the only validation you need. This is something I'm passionate about, so it matters. Like think about with me and the tarot cards. Like I've told this story before, right? The story is wild on how I got into tarot cards. And I'm not going to go into it right now because these readings are too long to get into that. But I just want to point it out there. It's like something that I was scared to do at first. And I was scared because it's like I had this natural knack for it. And I was giving people free readings. And they're like, wow, you're really good at this. Like, how did you learn this? And I'm like, you're really like the third person I've given a reading to. So, you know, like I'm still new at this. And it was just like, I did it when I first started it. I did it because I was just curious about it. And curiosity led me to this part of my journey. And of course, there are days when I struggle hitting the post button because I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know how well it's going to be received. But what I realize is that no matter what, I keep coming back because I love this. I love how Source talks to me this way. I love how Source gives me confirmations for myself and how Source gives me confirmations to share with you. I love everything about it. And it's like, even if one person watched my video and they got something from it, it wouldn't, at the end of the day, that's not enough to validate me anymore. But it used to be. It used to be. That used to be the one thing I would hold on to. If somebody gets something out of one of my videos and I did a good job. And of course I want to serve people. Of course I want to help people. Like that's something I've been driven by since I was a kid. My mom told me when I was a little girl once, and it stuck with me. She says, you would move mountains over mountains for people. And I feel like you're the same way. I do. I feel like you're the same way. But because of that, that puts us in an awkward position where we're always looking to people to validate our existence. And that's why it's like with this, it had to matter more to me than the naysayers. It had to matter more to me than even the people cheering me on. It had to matter enough for me where I looked at it from a childlike curiosity, where no matter what was going on outside of me, I just continued to show up because that's how much it mattered to me. And that's what this feels like for you. It feels like something that truly matters to you. And just remember, no one's going to show up the way that you do, and no one's going to create the same way that you do. Think about tarot readers. I mean, if you watch multiple tarot readers, every tarot reader brings something different. It doesn't make the message any less meaningful, even if you get confirming messages from separate readers. But their styles are different. The way they talk are different. The way they regard the message is different. The way they read the cards is different, right? But it's still a similar thing, right? They think, oh, it's saturated. It'll never be a saturated market because you can't saturate something that will always be unique based on the person who brings it through. That's how they want you to look at it. Yeah, confidence is your key to success with the new moon in Leo. They want you to be confident in yourself. They want you to believe in yourself. Why do I hear that Cher song? Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me says, I really don't think it's strong enough, no. Right? Like, yeah, do you believe in life after this love? You should. You should. You should believe in yourself and give that love to yourself. And I don't think, like, I think that's the thing. It's like you're feeling like you're not strong enough, but you are. Especially with strength, like flying out to be the first card in your reading. Like, it just flew in. I was like, hello, what's up, peekaboo? Okay, that was strange. So, simplification's what was on the bottom of the deck. Okay, we're going to get to that in just a second because I've never had that happen before where the deck just split when I was trying to show you the bottom of the deck and flew over still wants to be seen. Renewal wants to be seen for you. 890. You're experiencing renewal and fresh beginnings. Release the past and embrace the opportunities for growth and transformation ahead. Yeah, let go of that old dirty, yucky laundry energy that this person put on you. Just let it go. Throw out those old socks. Throw out that dirty underwear. You know, just throw it out. It's old. It's worn. You don't need to carry it anymore because it's never been yours to carry. And yet somewhere along the way, you were convinced that you needed to carry this. And that's not true. That's not true. And I know it's easier said than done. And I can appreciate that, but this is what they're encouraging you to do. We have simplification, 654, simplify your life and focus on what truly matters. If it matters to you, it's important. End of story. Declutter your mind and surroundings for greater clarity and effectiveness. So angels coming in saying, hey, what's up, pile 3? What you got going on? We got something to say, okay? So I was actually gonna use this tarot. Anyways, I was gonna use the Ancestral Path Tarot for this reading today, but then it totally went haywire and I went a different way because that's the way I was taken. So I'm actually gonna get one card out of this deck for you as kind of like an advice card, and we'll see what your ancestors have to say. Okay, so pile 3, what your ancestors secretly want to tell you now. Okay, it's this one right here. All right. These cards are massive. They're too big for me, but I still love them. They're beautiful. On the bottom of the deck, we have the the 7 of sacred circles, which is the 7 of coins. There's a lot of abundance here for you. It's the first thing I see when I see this card, like a lot of abundance. But okay, so the 7 of coins in the Tarot Marseille, which is what I read, talks about letting yourself be unique. You're unorthodox. That's what will always make whatever it is that you're creating unique, because you bring an unorthodox way to the creation, right? It's not going to be like Sally down the street. It's not going to be like Khadijah next door. It's not going to be like Gary across the way. It's not going to be like Bobby who lives five doors down. Like, it's just not going to be like that. It's not going to be anything like what anybody you know or anybody you watch or anybody you've seen does it, because you have your own unique, unorthodox style that you're going to bring to it. Your own perspective is what shapes it. It shapes the way you approach it. And that's what makes it beautiful and magnificent and wondrous and so worth the process. And when you can honor that about yourself and accept that about yourself and what it is that you're doing, then there will be other people who do, but that's not why you should do it. You should do it because you recognize the power in standing uniquely aware of who you are. That's where true power comes from. That's self-mastery in and of itself. Yeah, the artist. Oh my gosh. So you're talking about Picasso's. Maybe you're a painter or you want to draw or create. Again, an artist here. This is you're living from an artist's viewpoint. So you could spend all day and your whole life worrying about whether or not it's going to be accepted or received. But there's something more powerful about putting the paint to the canvas on the brush. There's something more powerful about the literal strokes that you take to create those lines. And if you're not a painter, it's the same thing with whatever you do. There's something that's more powerful about the keys that you press on the keyboard. There's something more powerful about the screws you put in the door. There's something more powerful about the action of whatever you're creating that's coming. It says a light attribute is expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses. Tapping into that source energy, tapping into that Zen state, inspiring others to see life symbolically. So you're going to be impacting others, but that's not why you should do it. You should do it because it matters to you, and that's enough. The shadow is using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posting as a starving artist to elicit pity. And I feel like maybe this is something that people have tried to push on you too. Like, oh, you know, like you're the starving artist. Like you'll never make money doing that, or you'll never get successful doing that. It's too saturated. Like they're trying to convince you otherwise. And they're saying that's the illusion. Don't let that cage you in as well. Don't let go of one belief to accept another limiting belief that's just going to keep fueling the cage that you put yourself in for so long. Let the creation be what carries you to freedom, because it has every potential to allow you to see the world in a way you didn't know was capable. Keep it professional with the 10th house. This is your purpose. And you know, like that's the thing. If you're watching this, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. This might not be the reading for you, because whoever's on here, you know what it is you want to create. You know what it is you want to distribute to the world. You know what you want to give to the world. There's something like you maybe you want to be a comedian. Maybe you want to be a psychic medium. Maybe you want to be a ghost hunter, right? Like whatever it is, like there's something here that you want to do. Maybe you want to be a shaman. You want to be a healer. Right? Whatever it is, you know what you want to do. This is your purpose. And it's a beautiful expression of who you are. There's a need for it. Take time to breathe, or take time to breathe out. Yeah. Disseminating moon. So there's a need to let go of the breath you've been holding, right? The breath will carry you on. And I feel like that's the thing. Like you're holding your breath to see if you're going to be received. And it's creating limitations in your creation process. And I feel like that's what's really hard. It's like if you're only doing it to be received, you're never going to actualize your true potential. But when you let go of that, then you actualize your true potential, and the creation process becomes so much more expansive, so much more involved, and so much more fun. And you get to experiment and try new things and do this and do that. And it's just going to be a lot more interesting for you. Divine guidance. Whoa. Okay, ancestors coming in. Your angels and your ancestors really strong here today. We've got 000. You're receiving guidance and protection from the universe. Trust in the divine plan for your life. Exactly. Trusting in the process. Trust that your unique self is valuable, because you are. and honoring that about yourself, and take that aggressive action right now for yourself. Don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about how it looks. Don't worry about the outcome. Just trust the process. Like, this is one of those things that might look totally terrible at first, right? And what they're saying is just trust the process. Let it be messy. Let it be terrible. Let it be awful. Let it be the worst thing you've ever done. But complete it anyways. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Right? Because sometimes it's like, have you ever watched makeup tutorials where they're like, just trust the process. But when they start, you're like, okay, how is this ever going to get any better? This looks absolutely wild and ridiculous. But then by the end, you're like, whoa, you've completely transformed. It's the same thing. That's what this feels like. It's like just trusting the process. All right, let's take a look at this card. We'll see what they say. The 9 of Sacred Circles. Claim your independence. Claim your truth. Claim your ability to stand confident and free in what it is you want to create. This is your abundance, right? Abundance. We even got that with this card, abundance. You can see it on the card itself, even though the 7 of Coins talks about your unique self, right? There's something financially freeing here for you. There's going to be finances that follow, but honor what it is that you feel drawn to. Honor what it is that makes you feel fulfilled. Honor what it is that makes you feel good about what you're producing. And let the money follow. It might not be right away, but it will come. Do you know, I was reading about the Mandala effect yesterday, and this is one of the ones that was on the Mandala effect, but it was funny that it came up. Because it's like, if you build it, I remember it being, if you build it, they will come. But apparently that's not the right line. The right line is, if you build it, he will come. And I grew up my whole life seeing it, hearing it, quoting it as if you build it, they will come. But I just want to say that right now because it was coming through. It's like they're saying, if you build it, they will come. Like, that's it. And but it's not about them, right? It wasn't about them. I think that movie is really powerful because eventually at some point, he got so entranced by building the baseball diamond that it was just about building it. And it wasn't about the people coming, but then the people came. And then it was like, whoa, right? Nobody believed him. Everybody doubted him in the movie. If you haven't seen that, it's Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner, I believe. Such a great movie. A great movie. It's an oldie but a goodie for sure. All right, let's check out your cards. And I don't know if I'll read both of them from the book, but let's see what they are. Yeah, respect your physical body. Detox, rejuvenate, and relax. You might also resonate with the collective message that I did at the beginning, which you'll find timestamped down below. And then we also have, yes, this came out. And I mentioned this card in the very beginning of the reading because I was like drawn to this deck, and when I opened the deck, this card was on the bottom of the deck, and we talked about shields, talisman, and gold light. The fact that this came out for one of the readings today is absolutely profound, synchronistic, and such a confirmation. Let's read your psychic strength first, because I feel like that one is just for it to come out when I'd mentioned it in the beginning of the reading. It says, the early Berber people lived in northwestern Africa from around 10,000 BCE and perhaps longer. They lived in large nomadic tribes and over many centuries migrated, expanded, and came into contact with many other cultures. The Berbers were well-known traders who transported goods by camel caravan from the Sahara Desert to Morocco and beyond. Today they live mainly in North Africa. The Berbers of Morocco believe in spirits called jinns that can act like humans and take on different forms, such as that of an animal. People might call on an evil jinn to do harm to an enemy. The shape of a hand, often with an eye in the center of the palm, the hamsa, is incorporated into jewelry and wall hangings for protection against jinns and other forms of black magic. So this is protecting yourself from that doubt and that old belief, right? So they want you to protect yourself from that. It says, when you're feeling drained or vulnerable, you can shield yourself physically and emotionally. This card encourages you to look after yourself by setting firm boundaries, remain unattached to comments or attitudes that are unhelpful. Put out a hand for help where possible and surround yourself with positive energy. I love that because I feel like that's exactly what we were said. Like, you want to help people. It's coming through. Like, you want to inspire others. It's coming through. But there's this energy where you're holding on to something that has been harmful for you or unhelpful. It says, put out a hand where possible, surround yourself with positive energy, staying focused on your goals, and your loves will bring strength. So again, stay focused on your goals here. It says there are many ways to strengthen your spiritual energy. Find a way that works for you. You may like to use a hamsa or make a talisman. For a quick and easy way to shield yourself, ground your energy, take a few deep breaths, and imagine a golden bubble of healing light surrounding you. Once you can see yourself inside the gold bubble, ask the universe to protect you. Shield yourself with love and positivity and extend that protection to your loved ones as well. Something else that you might benefit from is talking to the archangels. So there's this little prayer that I do that I actually got from a meditation. If you guys know, that's my Instapot. But if you guys know who Steve Noble is, like, you can check out his meditations. Super amazing. They're so good. I love his meditations. He does some really good protection ones too. But he always opens the meditation with connecting with Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Sandalphon, and Archangel Metatron. And that's the angels from the east to the north and as above and below. And so I always talk to them and I ask them to create a protective shield around me to send back whatever's not mine. And so that might be something that resonates with some of you. And then totally just flipped over to the next one is respect your physical body, shared with family members and friends. Also used as a birthing space, the sauna has been an integral part of Finnish culture for thousands of years in a traditional sauna ritual. Finns hold a vita, a branch of silver birch, and gently beat themselves to relax their muscles, increasing circulation and to soothe insect bites. A sauna is a place for detoxing, relaxing, and rejuvenating the body and the mind. In addition to cleansing, saunas housed religious ceremonies and thus had rules similar to those of church. In folklore, the sauna is home to the sauna tontu, the sauna elf, a spirit who looks after the sauna and protects it from fire and damage and offers a special protection for women and babies. So this is all about protection for you right now. And I feel like that's why it's important for you to focus on creating, because part of the protection is to face the fear that not being protected has caused, or believing in what other people have said about you has caused. It says, if an elf feels disrespected, they could get angry and behave badly and bring bad luck. People keep on good terms with their sauna elf and enjoy their blessings by leaving out food, water, and special offerings. So you could also help connect yourself with your ancestors to help you overcome this by leaving out offerings for them if that's something you feel called to do. Okay, it says it's time to pay more attention to your physical surroundings, both your body and the environment where you live and work. Your mortal body is just as important as your spiritual energy. It is important to look after the vessel that carries your soul. Consider how you contribute to your health and well-being. Also, look at the energy where you live and work. Create a sacred space so you can go home, relax, and recharge. So you want to attend to your physical, emotional, and mental space, like a buildup of toxins, thoughts, ideas, and feelings can accumulate and start to dull your energies. Create a bubble in your routine where you can process and release stress, emotions, or physical impurities. Sweat it out in a sauna or with a run or a walk in the fresh air. Notice what you are consuming. Limit the processed foods, chemicals, or negativity you are taking in. A cleansing diet or skin treatment will have benefits for your whole self. Yeah, so it's about self-protection and also letting yourself really bask in that creative energy that's going to help you move forward on your journey, okay? So truly powerful message. You're totally with the longest here, so I was not expecting this long reading today. I had plans to do another one, but that's not going to happen because it is time for dinner. If you can hear my Instapot finally letting go from the pulsing to the quick release. So I'm going to go eat. But I love you guys. I'm truly honored that I was able to do this for you. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little Hamsa amulet down below. If you type in amulet for your emojis, it'll be the only thing that pops up. So leave that emoji down below and say, I protect myself and cleanse the impurities from my soul by choosing to go towards what matters for me and not worry about what other people think about me or think about what I'm creating. I choose to create as an expression of myself, and that is enough. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything in the description box that you need. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to the ancestors for coming in to give us this incredibly powerful reading today. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.